Welcome back to another episode of Foreplay. We are going to begin by thanking our great title sponsor at Chevrolet. A quick reminder that Equinox EV helps you get the distance that you are looking for with an available EPA estimated 319 miles of range on a full charge. You could be traveling around during this holiday season. Maybe you're driving to visit some folks, and just remind yourselves that you get 319 miles out of a Chevy Equinox EV, the 2025 Equinox EV LT. It's got a starting price around $34,995. Your pricing may vary. Dealers, of course, set the final price. It's also got the best-in-class 17.7-inch diagonal standard touchscreen display. And if you head over to Chevy.com/EquinoxEV and check this thing out, I think you're going to see that it looks fantastic because it is.
It's a great vehicle. It's a great company. We got a great podcast here for you guys today. We've got a couple of great guests. We talk some holiday spirit, some holiday jubilee, some Tiger Woods, some Charlie Woods. But yeah, Chevy has always been there by our side. It's been a couple of years now. A great partner for us. We love it. We love the cars. We love seeing them at our events. People get really hyped up to see them on the golf course when we have them there. So it's been great. It's a great year. Thanks to Chevy. Thanks to everyone there on our team, on their team. It's been some fun stuff. I can't wait to get into this episode because it's a holiday season, boys.
Reminder, head over to Chevy.com/EquinoxEV. Check out product info, lease offers, and amazing deals. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. Now let's get into the podcast. Are you aware since the Players Championship that the lip out is like the Wyndham all over the place?
That's just awful.
All right, Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. We've got, I want to preface something by saying that Trent was originally the only one that came in here with the Christmas flair going. So now I'm in a little bit of a tough spot where I'm the only one not wearing anything Christmassy, but that wasn't the original intention. It is Christmas week. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. I hope you celebrate it well and have a lovely time. The main takeaway, as we start this show, is that I think Bernhard Langer is still walking to his tee box because it's so far up on the 18th hole. But we're not going to talk about that right now. We're going to lead with you two bringing a lot of holiday cheer. I'm about to fly to St. Louis and hopefully bring the holiday cheer there to my nephew and niece and all my family and friends. So hope everybody's having a great holiday.
Well, there had been a lot of talk about a month ago and last year and the last couple of years how this podcast wants to bring it when it comes to Christmas spirit. And, you got to watch the movies, you got to listen to the music, you got to decorate the house. And Frankie had requested that I put a wreath on the door behind me, which I ordered and then I just didn't do. I didn't put it up, and for whatever reason, I kept it in the box. But then I was thinking, whenever this episode comes out, we still don't know. It might be Christmas Eve or it's the day after Christmas, still the holiday season. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to put that wreath up. I've got this Santa hat that I put on the top of my tree, and I've got this Tiger Swing ugly sweater. And I was like, I'm going to throw all this stuff on. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is with this podcast because we talk a lot about how we want to be Christmas guys, and we are. And I just wanted to own up to it. And then I knew as soon as I jumped on this Zoom and Frankie saw me, I knew he was going to get jealous that I was more Christmassy than he was. I saw the look on his face. He even called somebody. I don't know. He called somebody and was like, do we have stuff that I can wear during this podcast? And now he looks like the Elton John of Christmas. So yeah, we're here to spread the holiday cheer.
Merry Christmas. Yeah. I feel great. I definitely didn't want to get out Christmas. It's a great time of year. It's an absolute great time of year. I've been gearing up for this for the last month. I feel like I've really nailed soaking in Christmas this year. We got some snow this week, which was huge. Oh, absolutely huge. Santa Claus came driving by on a nice big fire truck by my house the other day, and there was snow on the ground coming down like off the trees as he was going by. I'm like, this is Christmas, man. Christmas boner right through my little sweatpants. It felt good. Felt real good. So yeah, I have all this stuff. I got a party tomorrow. It's my wife's birthday, and she's a twin, and it's my sister's birthday. Christmas Eve has always been the most ridiculous day of all time for me. So I got a bunch of birthdays. You got Jesus's birthday the next day. You got a lot of birthdays.
Tons.
So we got a lot going on. We already got through one party, but a lot of fun. My dad showed up. My dad's got hair down to his back, like the middle of his back.
Wow.
My dad is going through some sort of like it's not like a midlife crisis, but it's definitely just like he wants to like grow his hair out. It's like a Beatles crisis or something. It's like he's really kind of walking in and swaying it a little bit. I was like, do you have a tick or something? He's just kind of moving his hair around. And in the back, it's kind of floating from shoulder to shoulder. It's crazy.
He's got a new lease on life after the heart surgery.
The hair is out of control, dude. The hair, it actually looks like sick in a hat. I'm like, you actually kind of look like you got flow. It's kind of like flaring up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, because, all due respect to Mr. Borelli, of course, but doesn't have a lot going on up top in terms of hair.
No, it's not as much as you think.
Almost none. He came out to, I think, the first Breaking 85 we shot at Eisenhower Red. Flowing. He showed up without a hat, and it might be the first time in the years that I've known him he wasn't wearing a hat. And I was never going to say anything, but I was like, it's a little lighter up. Like it's thinner up top than you would imagine.
Thinner up top for sure. I think he's getting a haircut today. I think we bullied him enough. I think we finally bullied him enough. But he's obviously, it's incredible. You know what I did? And I've been doing a lot this year. So I started my year. Obviously, I had 2 godsons born around the same time. I got myself a nice, just cheap, old school camcorder, a Polaroid camcorder. And I've been, and each SD card is basically like a home movie. I just hit start and stop. And then when this thing fills up, one day I'll throw it into like Final Cut or something. I'll take all the scenes, I'll make it into one video, and you put it on a DVD, or probably won't put it on a DVD, but you send it out, and it is what it is. Like, you just have it saved. So I got that. Like, I have like Jack and Blake, like, both coming into their house for the first time, like getting carried in from the hospital. Like, this is like legit shit. And then I added to it for this year. For this, I got myself an old school. Now they sell the new ones of these, and you got to go online and find the old school Polaroid autofocus 660. This is from like 1982. Instant photos. And the reason I did a lot of research on this. The reason I got the old school one, it's so funny. Like, you show this to like my uncles or my dad or whatever, and they're like, we had 1,000 of these things sitting around the house. And the film was like so cheap and used to have tons of it. And now it's like $100 for like 6 photos. But
yeah.
But dude, I'm saying, like, it's like we got all the cousins together. Like, look how great these photos come out. And you write the date on it, and you just, like, I got one of baby Jack. It's just like, look at that. Like, these are photos that they look like they were taken in 1993. And to me, like, there's just like something really cool about being able to, like, you take the photo.
Do you remember Pinehurst during the U.S. Open? Their social team did the home video camcorder video that they put out. It was awesome. And it was their social guy there who's phenomenal. And he had the plan. It was for a couple days. They went around. They gave the camcorder to a couple different fans. They used it themselves. They put out a social video that was an old school camcorder style of like Pinehurst #2 history. And it came out fucking awesome.
There's something warm about it. Like, it's funny, as technology advances, you can get the clearest pictures in history. Like, Frankie could have taken those pictures on his iPhone or on a new digital camera that he bought, and we're like, no, we want the Polaroids. There's just something better, and it's got more feeling to it. It's like listening to records on a record player. There's warmth to it.
Yeah, I think there's also like the experience of actually taking it. It feels more of a moment, like, because you got to wait, you got to charge up the light, and everyone's just kind of like, they know a photo's being taken. And then when you take it, it's that noise. The photo comes out, you throw it in like a drawer so that it's in the dark, it can develop. And in 10 minutes, you don't get to see the photo for 10 minutes. It's not instant gratification. It's like, you don't even know if you were smiling, if you were blinking. It's like, it's this whole anticipation over this one photo. And then when it comes out good, it's like even more satisfaction. There's something about the whole idea of it. I think we lost that a little bit. Everything's so instantaneous. Everything's so just like, I can look like the other day, like last night we had dinner and I took like 1 million photos of my godson. Like, he was like wearing a hat backwards, and I have like 150 photos. I just kept hitting boom, 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 boom. And it's like, you look at them and they're cute, but it just doesn't hit as hard. It's like, I'm never going to look back at like photo 3 of that. I have 100 of them. So I don't know. There's something about it that I think we definitely missed the mark on like making memories like feel more like memories. Now they're just kind of like farts in the wind with these photo albums on the phone. So I don't know. I think everyone should get some version of it.
Some of the apps try to do it, like Snapchat will do it with like this day 6 years ago. And I think that the camera roll,
those are huge.
on iPhone. Like they've tried to capture that too, where it feels a little bit more personal when you kind of comb through it. I know some people are bitching because they change it up quite frequently, but I think a lot of people have kind of recognized exactly what you're saying, where like the digitalization of photos and videos has taken away some of the warmth of it. Whereas, man, we used to pop in like a video, like a home video, and pop that thing in the old VHS player and play it. It was like scraggly and it had some of the like fuzzy lines, and that's such a like warm, takes you back. You can like feel not just the visuals of that, you can feel the temperature of the room and like the love around the room when you just think about watching those videos.
It's Clark Griswold in the attic watching the old tapes, and he's getting emotional. He's got a tear going down his cheek. I don't know why it's so different when, you would think things get clearer and better. We would like them more, but it actually happens to be the opposite, which is interesting.
My uncle, being the asshole he was like, "Hello from heaven," because he knows like one day you're gonna watch the video back. That pissed me off. I was like, "You can't do that. Come on."
That's great. That's a guy who gets it.
He's hilarious. He's like, "Hello, I died, but I'm here right now." It's so good, dude. So good. But you know what else I did that I think everyone should do, which I thought was really, really fun? I said, "All right, everyone, I said, in 10 years, I'll watch this back. Give me your predictions on New York sports teams. I want to hear them." And they're huge Mets fans and Jets and Knicks. So it was like they were going nuts. So like the New York, I'm like, it's 2024. What will the Mets do over the next decade? And we'll watch it back in 10 years. So now I've got documented like takes. They're like, the Mets are going to win 3 World Series. The Knicks are going to win 5. They're going crazy into the camera. I'm like, all right, you guys think it's going to be a dynasty in New York. But that I'm going to do that tomorrow with Hannah's family. I can't wait to see what they say. And then you hold on to it and then you watch it back. Like, holy shit, someone nailed it.
I don't know. I saw Juan Soto pop out in a softball game. I don't know if that bodes well for the Mets.
He's a little chubby around the. He looks like he's got a tube around his waist. Did you see him wearing that Mets jersey when he went to Citi Field?
No.
Oh, you didn't see that photo?
No.
He like buttoned because a baseball jersey should be tucked in all the way, and then you're obviously wearing your pants and the belt. But he had like the baseball jersey on over all of his clothes, and he buttoned it all the way down to the bottom, so it's tight like around the belly button. And he took this photo like this, and it just looked like a barrel. Everyone's like, "What the hell is that?" And he's going to be the best player in New York. There's no denying it. You're never going to get me to say that we shouldn't have gotten him ever.
No, I don't expect to. Big show. We actually got 2 guests on this show. I believe we're throwing Mr. Billy Horschel and Mr. Wyndham Clark into this very podcast. These 2 fellas down at TGL. I love Billy Horschel. He's great. He was sitting in the room kind of waiting for us, actually. We went to like lunch, and then we were cruising around the venue, and Billy was sitting in our little interview room waiting for us to give everyone a little peek behind the curtain, I think is what we say in the business. Is we were down there for the TGL. This is kind of like a car wash version of interviews, which, to be frank, is not my favorite style. I think that like we do long form, and I think that when you do 10, 15 minutes, it's a lot closer to like what cable news has become, where somebody jumps on, you only get a couple bullet points of like keyword answers, and then you're kind of through it. So that's not my favorite style of doing interviews. Having said that, we're going to say no going down there. Luckily, with Billy and with Wyndham especially, we've had these guys on before multiple times. We got great charisma with them, so we're able to get some good stuff. So I think Billy we had for like 20 or so minutes, Wyndham Clark for like 15 or so minutes. But when you're down there, these guys, and it was the same with Ricky, when you're down there, these guys are there for like a media obligation. They go from this little clinic and demonstration to over here. They pop in and do the local news, and they pop in over here and they do foreplay for a couple minutes. And like I said, I get it from their vantage point. They're jumping from one to the other. I don't think we really did talk about this. We had Ricky on the last show for 15 minutes or so, and it was great. We opened him up. We were talking about him going murdered out instead of all orange, Ricky Fowler, his short putts in there, and it was fun. But that was the first time we've ever really interacted with Ricky Fowler or had him on the show. And there's a big difference between like when we're rolling somewhere and, we like when we flew out and we had John Rahm on the podcast, we did like an hour and a half. He showed up, drove his own car there, sat down with us for like an hour and a half. It was like got emotional at times, whatever. That's very different than this environment. So when Ricky jumps in, sits on the couch, and then it's kind of like, oh, you're doing media now. It's just not necessarily the environment that we, that we've historically always done our best interviews in. And so I would love to get Ricky for more, is kind of what I'm saying. I'd rather have Ricky for an hour at some point and just shoot the shit with them and be more of our relaxed, laid back version of who we are, rather than like you're doing this media hit, then this media hit, then this media hit, and we're just one of them. And I'm pumped for people to listen to Billy and Wyndham on this because we've at least established that connection with those guys. I see Wyndham out here in Scottsdale all the time. Billy's come on and been vulnerable and emotional with us in many different moments. First time we had him on any real like video and on the podcast, we kind of addressed the fact that like we've shit on him before and that he's kind of fired back at us and the whole deal. So we've got great connection with those guys. Excited for people to listen to the second half of the show from these guys, from where they're at in their careers, in their relationship to TGL, what they think about TGL. And I think that the second half of the show is going to be great. But I do like to just kind of, from an interview standpoint, like I said, historically with what we do on the show, I prefer the much longer when we just get to sit down and sometimes we don't even fucking talk about golf. We just chop it up about God knows what.
Yeah, no, totally. It's definitely different. It's a different feel. Like you're just you feel like it's like forced in the beginning. And Ricky kind of came in, he's just like staring right at us. And it's like, let's talk. You're like, holy shit.
Totally.
We didn't even talk about the ricochet shots. If we had more than 10 minutes with them, you probably would have started to get more things in. We had to bring up the ricochet shot. So next time we got to talk to him about how he feels that he's kind of like every single guy that doesn't win. It's like, well, they're always comparing him to Ricky Fowler. And yeah, we've had a long history.
It's like, it's when somebody that you can't believe is young and they've won like 4 times, they're like, this guy is now in just 3 seasons surpassed more wins than Ricky Fowler. Like they were doing that for like a decade. And you're like, well, that's not fucking fair. How come he gets buried every time?
I didn't even think about that. We had such a small window that, like, I'm glad Frankie got in the orange and, getting into how we had talked about maybe you switch to all black and start going by Rick. But I mean, we've been doing this podcast for 7 years. We've certainly talked for hours about Ricky Fowler. We're not going to be able to fit everything in. So I fall on the side with Riggs where hopefully in the future we get a full sit down with him and we can kind of get into all of the details of Ricky Fowler's life and sort of his life on this show.
Yeah. I guess to like also go back to the last episode and all the TGL stuff, we pumped a lot of it on social media. We have a video coming out of us playing at the TGL Arena. I did see a mix of like, this is fucking awesome, and a lot of people being like, this is going to fail and this is going to be a huge flop. And I think the thing that you have to realize, and I think Riggs did a great job hammering it home last time, is like, this is an additive thing to golf. At one of the holiday parties that we had over the weekend, like I was telling my family that had no idea. They're like, dude, where were you? Like, what was that? Can like we go golf there? Like they thought it was like a Top Golf. Like that's the coolest place I've ever seen. I was like, no, there's a new league that no one really knows about in like general sports fandom, right? Like it's really hard. It's pretty niche to like hardcore golfers knowing that like this new league is kind of coming out of nowhere and they're keeping up with live or whatever you might want to say that they're trying to do. And when you explain it to someone that's never heard of it, they say it's like, that's like unbelievable. And then like, you're kind of able to explain it as like, yeah, like it's not golf, like, and they're not taking away golf. They're not taking away Thursday through Sunday and the championships and like everything that's happening in the majors. Like this is something that like what I just explained to you, like Tiger Woods hitting huge high draws into the biggest screen you've ever seen in your entire life. And like, then like a light coming from the ceiling, hitting this grass inside this huge arena and then hitting real golf shots into a green and like going back and forth and being there and seeing Tiger and Rory and all these guys. And they're in front of you for 2.5 to 3 hours, as opposed to like you go to Bethpage Black. Cause I even said, I was like, oh, remember when we went to Bethpage Black and you had to stand on the 10th hole and like, you just got a little glimpse of a red figure walking by. It was Tiger Woods back in like 2009, whatever it was. Like you just got a chance to see him. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, now it's like going to a hockey game and just watching Matt Barzell for 3 hours. You get to just watch like the best athletes do their thing. And it's on Tuesday nights on ESPN at 8:00 at night. There's nothing else going on. It's an additive thing to the sport that we like to watch. It's different. No one's going to force you to watch it. It doesn't need to be this thing where it's like you're ruining golf or it's going to be stupid or no one that likes the game of golf is going to watch this. It's like, it's totally different. It's a whole new thing and it's additive. It's extra. So like, how could that possibly be a negative? You know, how could it possibly be a flop if it's just like extra shit?
And I could understand if they were saying, hey guys, we're going to get rid of the Sony Open and we're going to get rid of the Bay Hill Arnold Palmer Invitational. And instead, those 8 days are now going to be TGL. And I could understand as a golf fan, if you're like, well, actually, I fucking love those two events. I like Walleye. when they play out there and the architecture of that golf course. It's the first time all year they have a full field and it's primetime TV because they're out in Hawaii. So I get to watch it late night. And then Bay Hill, I love the final green, that final 3-hole stretch. Tigers made so many putts in that green. I can't believe they're getting rid of that. That stinks. They're not fucking doing that at all. All the stuff that you still love exists. And then they also are just adding and trying something new. And every time anyone's tried anything new in the history of humanity, it's been met with skepticism and people bitching, being like, that's going to fail. They love people that are absolutely sitting there doing nothing, trying to like succeed or advance anything, are the people that sit there and are like, this is definitely going to fail. Maybe it will fail. Most things do. Like most businesses fail. Most new initiatives fail. However, I will say that like a lot of the feedback that I got was actually almost all consistent. And what it was like, hey, I gotta be honest, that shit that you guys showed looked sick and cooler than I thought it was going to look. I'm really curious to see if it's as cool on TV as it appears to be in person. Like Colt Nose texted me being like, dude, I thought that actually looks really sick. I wonder how it's going to come out. I have my buddies from home on our golf group text being like, yo, this looks really sweet. We played last weekend here. I was out in California for a couple of days and then back here in Scottsdale. And both those different friend groups were like, yo, I saw a bunch of that TGL stuff. That shit looks cool. Everybody kind of thought it looked cool, which was our takeaway as well. Like walking in there, I don't think we were overdoing it at all. I think we truly walked into that stadium and we're like, well, this is fucking sweet. I've never seen like this in my life. It's not a basketball court. It's not a sheet of ice in a hockey game or a football. This is unlike anything I've ever seen. Half of the goddamn playing field is the biggest simulator screen on earth with 2 different hitting bays that are surrounded by lights with actual real grass that they bring in and out, like the football stadiums here in Arizona. And then the second half of it is a rotating green surface with all kinds of different pin locations and bunkers with real sand. And then 20 feet away from that is our seats for a couple thousand people that are going to be in an intimate environment. That's fucking cool. That's just, I think that's just inherently a person would walk in there and be like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
Now, we got no idea if this is going to translate on TV. It's kind of what we said last week, so I don't want to overdo it. But I did think that was kind of a lot of the sentiment. And people, again, are going to be skeptical. They're going to bitch. They're going to say it's going to fail. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I just think like, we're kind of like emotional, knee-jerk reaction kind of guys. And when we walked in there, we just were like, oh, this is fucking cool. And hopefully it comes through on TV. And that's pretty much it. We lost Trent earlier. Is he back?
I think I'm back. My internet, I don't understand. I'm on my desktop computer. I was just texting Alex Bush about it. I just did the speed test. It's perfect. I don't know what goes on with this with this desktop, but it's annoying.
Might be the drones. See any drones
Maybe.
flying around over
No, I
here?
don't see them. They haven't made their way down here yet.
Yeah, they haven't been out here yet either. You're seeing a lot of drones, aren't you, Frankie?
Yeah, we had a drone flying around because we're like relatively close to the water. And I have a buddy that lives on the water, like a little bit more south of me. And he's like, dude, these drones are just flying over. And we're all like, they're obviously planes. Like planes just fly over Long Island all the time. We've got 3
Couple
huge
airports.
airports. But then no, it was like he was sending Snapchats. And it's like the thing's just right above his house, going left, going right. Now, I don't know. Like I have a drone. I've got 2 drones. Like I could just throw one up in the sky and freak everyone out. Like I could just fly one over my neighbor's house and he'll
Me
be
too.
like,
I've got 3.
the Russians are here or something, you know what I mean? Like they'd be going crazy. So I don't know who's fucking with who. I don't know. It's really crazy times right now. Like everyone's just like, I don't know if it's X, dude. Like X is out of control. I might need to stop going on there because like there's literally nothing good that comes from that app right now. Everything is like fear mongering. Is that the word? Like everyone just wants to be afraid. Like no matter like everything. Like, oh, like Kamala and Biden had to cancel their Christmas trip to rush back to the White House. Like something's happening on Christmas Day. It's like, and now everyone's texting everyone. Something's going to happen on Christmas Day. It's like, what the fuck? Like, and it's everywhere. Elon's retweeting it. Like, it's like, you can't get away from it. So yeah, these drones have taken up every conversation on Long Island. You can't have a conversation with someone without talking about the drones.
I think it's better for everyone's life if you don't scroll through X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. I really, truly
would agree
just
with that.
believe that. I've been subscribing to that more and more. And granted, with our job, luckily we've gotten like when we were blogging and when you were like Dave's right hand man and you're producing the radio show and pizza reviews, it's like it is true that a huge part of our job you couldn't really miss anything. You had to be able to like commentate and have the cultural capital to like know pretty much about everything that's going on. And there's still a degree of that for sure that we're going to kind of need to see shit that's going on. so that we have like experiential knowledge of what's going on, so we could comment on it, talk about it on a podcast, whatever the hell it might be. But I do think that like the less that you're just on that thing overall, the happier you are as a human being. It's fucking a nightmare on there. It's anxiety. It'll give you so much anxiety about any topic. And then once that algorithm figures out what you're kind of into and watching, it just starts feeding you more and more and worse of it, to the point where you get to where you're watching people get killed. You're watching people just die. You're watching people
Watch someone
freak
get
out.
lit on fire yesterday. Like that's the first thing I saw on the New York subway. That woman got lit on fire.
You don't need that. I don't think you need that.
I stay off the For You page. The way I look at it now is I follow these accounts for whatever I get out of them, news or opinion, but I picked what they are. And if you go to the For You page, I'm now being fed things that I didn't pick. Now you could say you watch this thing for 0.5 seconds, so now we're going to start feeding it to you. But I want to watch the things that I decided to follow. And I think that's kind of where we need to get back to, where I'm following these accounts because I decided that. You flip over to the For You page and they're just like, here's all this crazy shit. So I stay off the For You page. I never go on there because I'm going to see somebody get lit on fire as soon as I wake up.
It flips on over there on its own sometimes.
You got to have the discipline to get back over there, because I really think the For You page, especially on X, is just, it's fucking misery, dude. It's bad.
Dude, it'll trick me, man. Like, I think I'll be on only who I'm following for days, and then I'll look up a couple days in and be like, I've been on the like For You page for a couple days and not even realized it.
I can tell because I know I'm not following anybody that's going to show me somebody getting their head blown off. Like it dawns on me pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I feel like back when we were more plugged in, like you said, like when we were in the old office and we were doing that stuff, it was just a different app back then, where it was very
different,
tight to what you were doing. Like really, all I saw was Barstool stuff. It was just like you basically saw every single person that worked at Barstool, every tweet, every retweet. Barstool radio account would be like go viral in our little world, and that would be it. And now it's like I don't even want to travel anymore. It's like you just think you're gonna die every second. It's really bad. So,
dude, the tricky part back in the day too was like when we were blogging and like as me and Trent, cutting our teeth as like bloggers. It was like you needed to know what was going on in the Barstool universe or what the Barstool world cared about, because you could get pulled onto the Rundown or Barstool Radio. So you needed to at least like have a pretty good sense of what was going on and know a little bit about it. But then you also had to have just enough of the things that you were following present before you stuff from the outside world that other bloggers wouldn't capture, so that you could get a little bit of a leg up in blogging. And you could try to create this category, this niche of stuff that you blogged about that other people wouldn't, so that you could snag page views that other people couldn't. And so now I feel like my following, list on Twitter or feed, I guess, is still like there's enough of that outside the Barstool world that still feeds me shit that's just a goddamn nightmare, dude. And then those accounts, right, they've like changed and been filtered in a lot of this new age of X and whatnot. So you get a decent amount of what the Barstool world cares about. But then I also will find myself scrolling through that thing and just getting hit with stuff that you can't even imagine, that just gives you the most anxiety. You said somebody's being lit on fire, or, like grisly details about who's like being pardoned right now, or there's, and you're just like, like who are they letting back out into the world while there's drones flying over that are looking for nukes? Like what are you talking about? I'm just trying to go get a fucking iced coffee.
I used to be into this stuff, like just like the different crazy stories. I used to bring them to the podcast. It felt like it was hard to find. I used to do like Frankie Facts or something about space or whatever. And now just everything is so right in your face. It's like, it's really bad.
Everyone, winter is officially here. This is a holiday episode. We're into the holiday stretch, and what better way to welcome the dropping temperatures than with some new sweaters from our great friends at Peter Millar. The Holdridge family of sweaters features a blend of ultra soft merino wool and a luxury performance material that provides wind and water resistance without the bulk of traditional outerwear. They've got 3 different models in the Holdridge. It's a vest, it's a full zip sweater, it is a full zip hoodie. Peter Millar brings it, and I got to tell you, this season from the fall all the way through this early part of the winter, rocking the new Peter Millar line of outerwear has been a true delight.
I live in Florida now, but I'm going back to Iowa for Christmas, and it is much, much colder there than it is here. And I've got all my Peter Millar stuff packed. The sweaters, you wear them to whatever gathering you have. I know Frankie's got a lot of parties this week. You wear a nice Peter Millar outfit, a nice item. People, they turn their heads. They're like, where did you get that? And they normally know because it's got the Crown logo on it. It's just really good for this time of year if you're trying to layer, if you're trying to look nice at a holiday party. Peter Millar, they've got everything covered from the golf, but also they've got the casual holiday party. They've got that locked down.
Yeah, that Holdridge line, I've got a bunch of them. I got the vest, the full zip, and the full zip hoodie. It really does. It's a great combination because it has that performance material on it as well as like that really, really soft material. It's all kind of combined into one. It's a showstopper. You walk in, I wore it to the first party that we had. I had everyone over. I had the nice little vest on. Whenever I'm wearing a vest, it's turning heads. If you're wearing a nice vest, that goes a long way. And Peter Millar, man, from the golf course, I mean, for me, it's like it's the pants, the polo, the quarter zips, the hoodies. You can't find me on the golf course wearing anything other than Peter Millar. And then, yeah, for the holidays, it's like, thank God we have them as a partner because we have the best clothes in the whole house. People are looking at me. The best is when someone sees it and then they look at the tag. It's like an old guy thing. Let me see this. Oh, medium, huh?
Head on over to petermillar.com/foreplay. Check out the Holdridge family as well as the rest of Peter Millar's sweater lineup. That is petermillar.com/foreplay. And be sure to check out their annual holiday gift guide as well for perfect gifts for everyone on your list. The start of the new year is the perfect time to get organized, set goals, and prioritize what matters most. For me, a top priority is my financial wellness, which feels more important right now than ever. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable. They show me all my subscriptions right in one place, help me easily cancel ones that I forget I've been paying for. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and it helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money is truly a huge lifesaver.
Make one of your New Year's resolutions downloading the Rocket Money app and getting your finances in order. It's very important. Just do it because a lot of people, and I was like this before I had the Rocket Money app, I don't know where this money's going. I have a general idea, but when it comes to subscriptions and you know bills that are auto pay, like keep an eye on all that stuff. And if you download Rocket Money, it's a tool that you can use to track all of your spending, see where all the money's going, see where you can cut down on something, save a little bit of money. 2025 is the year of Rocket Money, and it's the year where you're going to figure out your finances.
Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved over a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Fore today. That's rocketmoney.com/FORE. rocketmoney.com/Fore.
I mean, it's not as bad as Bernhard Langer anchoring his putter and teeing off 120 yards in front of Tiger Woods and 60 yards in front of a 15-year-old. But I get it. He's 65 years old. We got to get into the PNC. I mean, we just have to talk about the PNC. An absolutely incredible golf event. I mean, it just delivered on all accounts, like really, really good. As entertaining as any golf event I've ever watched in my entire life. I get it's a father-son thing. Annika's out there with her son, Will McGee. He's getting pissed every time he misses a putt. He wants it more than people want the Masters. Tiger and Charlie just playing their dicks off, like really zoning in. Like Tiger was so locked in. So was Charlie. We'll get into all the details, but like for me, really, really enjoyable. There was a lot going on Saturday and Sunday. You had college football playoffs. You had a bunch of big games. You had NFL. A lot of, all my buddies were all in like the playoffs for fantasy. You're trying to take everything's just happening at one time with the NFL, college football, and then you've got this father-son event going on in Orlando that's like barely on TV. You got to go on Peacock for most of it, and then it's like it's the greatest entertainment out of anything. It was the best entertainment you could find. Hole outs, hole in ones on top of each other. Tiger Woods going shot for shot with like a senior tour assassin. Like I was laughing out loud thinking about Bernhard Langer's son going to battle with Tiger Woods on a playoff coming down 18 of a tournament, and showing no emotion. This kid's a finance bro from New York City. He claims he plays like once a year and just shows up to the PNC and has to play with his assassin robotic German father. But like, that kid lived out everyone's like simulation. You know what I mean? Like, that's a dream. He was facing Tiger in red in a tournament that Tiger wanted to win more than anyone. And he was fucking hitting shots to like 5 feet. Shout out Bernhard Langer's fucking son.
Yes. Every year I think going into it that we overdo it maybe with the PNC and it'll be fine. And it really over delivers every time. It's around the holidays, the wholesomeness behind the entire thing. The fact that you do have, like, it's an outrageous scenario that you get to play or anyone gets to play against Tiger Woods or Bernhard Langer. I mean, how about our great friend Gary Player is 89 years old.
Insane.
89 years old.
Insane.
He's out there doing fucking leg kicks when he makes putts. And you've got kids that, and we do a goddamn golf podcast. My mom listens to every show. She goes back on road trips and listens to old shows from 6 years ago because she loves it so much. She only calls me after a few tournaments a year, and she calls me after the PNC. She's like, we got to talk about this PNC. How awesome is that? And we were going back and forth, and she was saying, because my nephew Robbie, who we talked a lot about a lot on the show, when like I'm in town and my mom's in town, my dad's in town, so it's his grandparents come in and go to a hockey game. He like can't even sleep. He's worse than Christmas morning when he gets up at like 5 a.m. and he comes and jumps around the bed being like, Uncle Sam, I'm so nervous because you guys are all coming to my game today. And it's the coolest thing in the world for him that we're there, that we're in the crowd. There's like 3 of us. And that if he scores a goal and skates in front of us, it goes nuts. Now imagine these kids. I know they're older than 8, but like when Charlie started, he was what, like 11? There's some kids that are still quite young, up to kids in their 20s or 30s. But it is the coolest imaginable situation. And for almost all of them, they're not going to get on a bigger stage. Like, I know we're watching them hit awesome shots at the PNC and it's really cool, but most likely they're not going to make it in professional sports. It's just like nobody does. It's fucking impossible. And so the coolest thing in the world is for these kids out there, dude, in this environment. The fact that the format, with the exception of Bernhard Langer playing from the fairway, the format is so awesome that you've got like the actual accomplished legends of the game are able to kind of like carry the kid along just enough to where the kids get put in positions where they can hit iconic shots. Charlie gets his first ever career in his life hole-in-one, and you're watching a bunch of other huge putts and hole-outs from all the different children, from all the different legends of the game. That part of it is, as a podcast, we like to make fun of people and laugh about this and that, give each other shit, and probably talk, inappropriately most of the time. It really is just a great like injection into your bloodstream, into your soul, what like the holiday season and time is all about. People out there with their family. You don't see Tiger that happy. Like, I honestly think if Tiger and Charlie would have won that, those belts, trophy, and the photo of that victory photo on 18 would have been featured more prominently in his house, in his office, than any other thing that he's probably ever won. Like, you could sense that, how much it meant to him, how cool it was for him that he's in that situation with Charlie. And that's just awesome. And Tiger looks fucking great, by the way. He looks great. I don't know how deep we want to go into that because we've probably done this every year, but I did not expect that man to look as good as he looked.
Well, there are times with this event, and it is a great event. There are times where, like, the hashtag wholesome content that every Instagram page grabs, like, God forbid Tiger and Charlie reach down at the same time to grab a ball. Then it's like, oh my God, this is the greatest event of all time. We've gone over that. It's amazing. I love seeing Tiger as happy as he is at this event. But the difference that this year had was the competition of it. Like, Tiger really invested and the Woods team really in the running to win it. Like, there's that par 3, I think it was the 16th hole or something, where Tiger goes last. The first 3 guys miss the green, and Tiger stands behind the tee box for what felt like 5 minutes, analyzing what he was going to do. And it felt like a real tournament. Like, that was the difference to me. There's obviously the great stuff with the kids and the sons and the daughters, and that's all great. But when Tiger Woods down the stretch is actually invested in winning a tournament, it makes all the difference. Like, yesterday we were all tweeting it. We all put our Tiger Woods hat back on yesterday, and we're like, this is the greatest event that's ever happened. And if he wins, if Team Woods wins, it should count as number 83. I made the argument that it should count as a major. Like being able to put on that Tiger Homer hat and piss off people who fucking hate Tiger Woods for whatever reason that it is, that's what made yesterday so different. The Woods, when there is something on the line, when there's something to win, they just bring the fucking juice, man. There were people who were watching that over some football games like that. That's fucking juice, man. And it's all because of Tiger Woods. All of it.
I can't wait to see the ratings. I mean, you got to think that they were through the roof. Tiger Woods coming down. They were 27 under. I think the Sings were like 23 under, and they were in second place when they were both tied for first. So it's like these guys were lighting up the golf course. They shot what, 58, 57?
57s.
That's
57.
Like, that's insane, man. And it's also insane for Bernhard Langer. I know that we were shitting on him, and I have a lot of things to say about him. Obviously, he takes advantage of the things that are given to him. They're like, you can tee off from this tee box, so why don't you do it? Of course he does it. The guy's won 6 times the PNC. It's out of control. Do you guys have stats on Bernhard Langer in the senior tour? I mean, he has absolutely dominated the seniors ever since he turned 50.
No, he's definitely dominated. He's an incredible player. The only stats that I pulled up, and I'm sure Riggs has a few as well, are he won the Charles Schwab Championship a month and a half ago. And the yardage for that tournament was 6,700 yards. He won it. He's an incredible golfer. He's, almost 70. He's winning these Champions Tours events, 6,700 yards. His tee box, his yardage for the PNC, if I have my numbers right, 6,000 yards.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable because he is getting such an advantage over the people he's playing. And I know he's 68 years old. Kirk Minahan was saying he's 332 years old. He is old as shit, but he's also winning.
What it says is like you are allowed to play from the tee box that your age allows in the PNC. And again, it's very funny that we're about to really get into the nuts and bolts of tee boxes of the PNC. I know I can feel the listeners being like, "This is insane," but we're gonna do it. I don't give a fuck because we tweeted a lot about it.
That guy's like the best player on earth right now. He's teeing off from fucking. They kept walking by tee boxes as they're showing the camera. I was like, did he already hit? And I didn't see it. And he's just walking past this tee box, walking by that tee box. And then there's this giant squares of tee markers that he tees off from. I couldn't believe it. And then he hits it. He hits one of those tee shots on 18 where the camera guy has to like point the camera straight downwards because the ball got so close to the tower that he's in that he's like looking downwards as the ball goes by. And I said, I just watched Charlie Woods have 179 mile an hour ball speed on his tight draw down the left side, and they're 30 yards behind Langer, who's 900 years old. And dude, I just couldn't. I don't care if it sounds petty. I think that you gotta. Everyone's just basing it based on age, and I was doing the same thing. I was in a heated text back and forth with Kirk Minahan the whole back nine of this father-son event, celebrating Christmas, and I just couldn't believe that you got to at some point exercise a little bit of judgment and just be like you just said, Bernhard Langer, he's won, I think 47 times on the Champions Tour.
47. He has 12 majors, I think.
Dude, they played that 18 hole. They played that 18 hole a couple of times, whatever. And each time Langer teed off, the announcers would be like, oh, it's on a pretty good line. If it clears that bunker on the right, he'll be all right. It cleared that bunker by 80 yards both times. It's like that bunker is not in play for Bernhard Langer when he's teeing off from those tees. And again, I get that he is exercising that he's 67. So that's allowed in the rules. But as we're saying, and as everyone is saying, he's not like every other 67-year-old. He's winning a million times on the Champions Tour. He should not be playing from 6,000 yards.
He's also won this event way too many times. Like, he's taking advantage of a father-son event. This guy doesn't give a fuck.
Also, I don't know if you guys saw. I'm sure you did. I'm sure people were tweeting at you. His lie in that bunker.
Oh, my gosh. Which I get. That one I kind of understand. It's a scramble. It's preferred lies. Like, that one was crazy because he was able to hit
a little tee on the sand.
He hit a driver out of that. Didn't he? Didn't he hit a driver out of that bunker?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were multiple times where Tiger and Charlie pulled it out of the rough to get into the fairway. Like it's crazy rules. It's crazy rules that we play in a scramble. Like we say, you got to stay in the same grass. Tiger and Charlie were like putting it on the green if they were off the green. It was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it.
This was like back-to-back weeks of watching golf on Sunday where I was ready to call it rules infractions on certain parties out there. And it's frustrating, man. And I can't help but tip my cap to this absolute old man golf winning machine that is Bernhard Langer. Dude, we've been since we've been doing this show, since we started this show, he was winning on the Champions Tour a decade before we started doing this show, and he's still out there doing it. Tiger and Charlie, in their interview afterwards, were laughing out loud at how he didn't miss a shot for the entire weekend. Bernhard Langer didn't miss a single shot. He's 67 years old. I won't be able to walk, let alone probably breathe or be alive when I'm 67 years old. And this guy is just stripe show after stripe show after stripe show. So you do got to give him credit. But, buddy, at some point, like even when we do our buddies' golf trips, if someone dominates one year, the next year you take strokes away from them or something so that you know what I mean? You like adjust it each year accordingly because you're trying to make it as fair as possible. And if anything, you don't want the same people to win over and over again. They don't want Bernhard Langer, the German machine, out there to win 6 years. Are you fucking kidding me? Move this guy back behind Tiger Woods.
I have argued loudly on this podcast and in videos, play the right tees. I play from the whites all the time because I'm not long off the tee, but it goes both ways. If you are really good, then you got to play from the further back tees. It's the same fucking. I had people tweeting me all day yesterday where I was talking shit about where Langer teed off from, and they're like, "Well, you fucking tee off from the whites because you suck," and that's true.
Yeah,
but
no
Bernhard
shit.
Langer is better than he is saying his tees are. So I'm saying, get the fuck back there.
It'd be like if we did if we're like, okay, we're gonna do a breaking 90, and then Trent shot like 57 from the forward tees, and then we were like, all right, next episode we're gonna do break at 85, and then Trent's playing the forward tees and shot 57. You'd be like, all right, what are we doing here? At some point, you got to make it pretty equitable. Like, oh, the Longers have won 6 times in a row. No shit, he's playing from 2,000 yards closer than these other guys, and he wins more than any of them on any given week. So it's just the whole thing. But I just couldn't believe it. And I wasn't paying attention enough throughout the whole thing to understand the differences in Bernhard Langer's tee boxes. You know, they're taking his kids' tee shots some of the time, whatever. That one on 18, the fact they kept replaying that hole and watching him that last time when there was no one else to cover, and they just panned to him when he was started, like, dude, when Tiger teed off, then they walked up to where Charlie and the younger Langer teed off. I was like, okay, Langer gets tee off from one tee box ahead of that. And then they panned to him. They're trying to keep up with him because the machine was just marching along like they're fucking heading into France in the late 1930s. And he's just right there. He walks right by this tee box that's roped up. So now he's like 4 tee boxes ahead of Tiger Woods. And I couldn't fucking believe how far up he was teeing off.
And to the people who are saying the reason you guys are so butthurt is because it came at the expense of your God, your Lord, Tiger Woods. Welcome to the fucking podcast. Yeah, no shit. I'm complaining because this snatched victory from our own Tiger Woods. So yeah, I'm going to be fucking upset about it. If he snatched it from fucking, I don't even know, Annika and them, I probably wouldn't care as much, but he snatched it from our Lord and Savior, Tiger Woods. So yeah, I'm going to tweet and I'm going to be butthurt on this podcast.
Yeah, the only reason we're talking about it is because he beat Tiger Woods. I mean, this guy's won 6 times. He's probably been teeing off from closer the last 5 years. We don't even know.
No clue.
We have no idea where he's been teeing off from. I do struggle with the fact that like the guy is 67 and he's just incredible. So it's like, should he have, like, he's being allowed, he's being told to tee off from this tee box, right? And he's just the best golfer of all time at that age. It's like he should be winning everything. Like, he's so outrageously better than every other 67-year-old that's ever played the game of golf that he should just be on like an outrageous tear of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, he should be deserving these wins because he's teeing off from where he's being allowed to tee off from and dominating the game. He's one of the greats.
I guess what I would say to that, what I would say to that, I would say, have some pride. You know you're better.
I know.
Than that. Get back there.
I know, but like it's like his division. He's just dominating. There's nothing he could do. He's like, yeah, I am 67. I'm just the best of all time. The best of all time.
He's the best
years old. He's the best
player ever.
And like There's really, you can't take that away from him. The thing that pissed me off, yes, 18 pissed you off because you had to make an eagle to win. And if you're just like 170 yards going into that green as opposed to like 220 or 210, which the Woods is where it's way harder to hold that green. You're basically just handing them the victory, giving two capable golfers a 7-iron and a 6-iron, whatever longer.
The finance bro kept throwing a dart in there on 18. By the way,
unbelievable.
Every time.
The fact that kid doesn't play golf, like that may have been a little bit of like a they were pushing
that might be
a
a
little bit too much.
Hagestad situation
100%.
where
that
you
could
know
play
that
some,
was
could play some serious golf. The par threes were the one that was tough, like because he was hitting some. I watched every single shot of this thing. He was hitting some horrifically bad shots. The son. What was his name? Is it Thomas?
I think it starts with an M.
Malcolm
Mason?
No way, dude. I thought it was like Thomas Langer. I could be way wrong. Watch the whole thing. Don't even know his name. Dude, he skull fucked a bunker shot, greenside bunker shot into the crowd. Like people were shrieking. He on 18, he pushed 2 balls, one into the bunker and then one way OB like right. So I mean, he really wasn't
Jason.
Jason.
Bernhard Langer and his 24-year-old son Jason, a former college player at Penn and an investment banker in New York City.
Yeah, he kid played at Penn. I mean, listen, he lived out every kid's dream. That's like he got to play against Tiger Woods in a tournament mode, going shot for shot, scramble or no scramble. That's some of the most outrageous shit that you can say that you did. And those clips of like him, like Jason Langer, like lining up iron shots with Tiger Woods standing to the right and hitting those shots while Tiger's missing the green is like not to be believed at all.
No,
but yeah, I want to give my props to Langers. Like that's a fucking hell of a performance to shoot a 57 alongside Tiger Woods and Charlie Woods with hole-in-ones. They said on the broadcast, the funniest thing that Bernhard Langer did was just make a ho-hum birdie on the same hole that Charlie Woods made a hole-in-one. Like he knocked after Charlie made the hole-in-one, Bernhard Langer went up to his ball, put one to like 4 feet and drained the birdie. It was like the most robotic, no problem. Like, oh, you guys are 19 under, we're now, or you guys are 23 under, we're now 22 under, we're right there with you. No problem.
They picked up a stroke. The guy got a hole-in-one. They picked up a measly stroke.
And then the next hole, they made an eagle and they made a birdie. So it was like they were right back. It was great. They went birdie eagle.
How about him walking it off on 18, walking off those balls?
Oh, Tiger didn't even give him the time of day. Didn't even look up.
Nope.
That's a great point, Frankie, because I remember, dude, my buddy Chad got a hole-in-one on the 12th hole at Skokie Country Club. We were doing a Sunday singles match against each other in a little Ryder Cup event, and it put him like, he went from 1 up to 2 up or something. And I remember just thinking for those last like 6 holes in my head, I was like, I'm going to win this fucking match where my buddy got a hole-in-one. I obviously didn't win, and I lost. And that's the difference between like Bernhard Langer, like you're saying, was like, all right, Charlie got an ace. Everybody's going crazy. I'm gonna hit this to 4 feet and make birdie. And like
Bernhard just saw like what the wind did to the ball, and he adjusted. Like he was happy that he made a hole in one because now he knows exactly what to do.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
no, but congrats to Longers. Yeah, well deserved.
Congrats to them. And Tiger Woods did look amazing. He walked the Pro-Am. He walked Saturday and he walked Sunday. Didn't take the cart. Obviously, it's a scramble. If you really paid attention to his shots, there were a lot of shots that he did miss. Like if you were trying to simulate him in a major, let's say like at Augusta National, he was missing a lot of greens. He was driving the ball outrageously well. I think he missed like 1 fairway in 2 days. I don't know the official stats. I think he maybe only missed going into 18. I think he missed like 1 fairway and then he started hitting that bunker. But it was the one
and
that
even
they
those
both
ones that were into
left.
that bunker were solid tee shots, like that water all down the left, and he just overcut him like a fraction. But you're right, he was driving the ball well.
Oh, and then like hitting 3 woods off the tee, hitting 5 woods, whatever that other one was. He was hitting amazing. He hit driver off the deck to the to pin high, basically, which was just incredible. His wedges were out of control. Charlie's wedges are amazing. That chip on 18 to go to the playoff. That is such a delicate little chip, especially with that like Orlando. Is that like Bermuda down? Like I don't even know what kind of grass that is, but that I know chipping in Florida is like a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
It's like,
I mean, I know they live down there, so it probably helps. But dude, when we go down there, where we haven't been down there for a while, and we just go down and film a video, and it's like that scraggly Bermuda-y. It could be a little inconsistent. Like I'm sure the PNC that maybe they overseed whatnot, it wasn't as bad. But you're 100% right, Frankie. Like anybody anybody's done a quick little buddies trip or something in the wintertime down to Florida, and you just go from like chipping on ryegrass or wherever you kind of play, especially up in the Northeast, like in the fall, the grass is so perfect everywhere. Out here in Arizona, they overseed it so perfect everywhere. You go down to Florida or even like the Pinehurst area, dude, and you try chipping on that stuff and you're not perfect, you are fucked. You just
like hitting
can't
off a
do
Brillo
anything.
pad or something.
Yeah.
It like just
Right.
grabs the club but yeah, he looked amazing.
Sucked.
The composure was great. He was putting fantastic also. I saw a lot of people saying if Tiger would have put that playoff putt first, Charlie probably would have made it. Like he was that dialed in. Because he was just a little more aggressive. He couldn't get the speed down a lot of times, but his line was always like right on the edge of the hole. So yeah, it was an awesome event, man. I think Tiger obviously made huge strides physically. They do this every year with the PNC. The announcers just talk about how he's never looked better.
Mm-hmm.
He's never felt better. He looks incredible. But this one you could
I enjoy
really take some positives away because he did walk it all. Like he walked the whole entire thing. He's got a bunch of months left. He's got 4 months until the Masters, and it's like this guy could just get better. Like, just do you think we'll see him before then? Do you think he'll play Riviera? Do you think like we'll see
Great
some
question.
practice
Riviera
rounds
is
from Tiger?
Pretty close because I think I've never seen him. I've never seen such a disconnect kind of between the way he looked and his own comments about his game. And he kept almost like he's trying now to dispel a lot of it to make it less pressure on himself. Like he's trying to psych us out because I don't think he believes that. But he kept talking about how rusty he is. Thank God it's a scramble, the whole thing. I thought this was maybe as good as he's ever looked in the damn PNC. And I know this is 4 years now that they've been doing this thing. But it is the fact that it's not like he looks healthy, but his game's a disaster. And it's not like his game looks solid, but he just looks really unhealthy. I think he looks pretty damn healthy and moving. And the fact that he voluntarily chose to walk, I know that seems like a pretty crazy victory that we're claiming right here.
I'll take
but
it.
like,
I'll plant any flag I got to
It's
plant.
actually huge. It
kind
really is.
It's kind of a big deal.
Dude, I got into a debate. I got this guy Tommy. His name's fucking Tommy Burke. Drives me up a fucking wall. He's one of
Was
my
he a
best
child?
friends.
His name's
He's-
Tommy.
Yeah, his probably name's Thomas, but I call him Tommy. But
I love it.
he's a fucking Tiger hater. He's talking about PEDs and no one can be this big every time. He just hates the game of golf.
Ever heard
He
of the
loves
weight
to
room, bro?
rib me, and he gets under my skin, and he knows it, and it's every day now. And I would, he saw some talk about walking the golf course, and he's like, how far are you guys going to move the goalposts to start cheering for this man? And I said, have we never heard of like rehab in a sport? Like you're a huge hockey fan. Like you go nuts when Matt Barzell's back on a no contact jersey. He's skating with the boys. He's wearing a no contact
Those
jersey.
videos go viral when they go out to pregame skate, or even if the team's in Edmonton and he's out in Long Island and jumps on the ice
Just
for the first
skating.
time. Are you kidding me?
I mean, baseball, like, oh, he's pitching from a flat mound today, and everyone's going nuts. Like, what? Like, this is the rehab. He's walking the golf course. That's a huge step in rehab. Like, how do people not see? How do you not see that enthusiasm from the fan base of being like, hey, we're excited that this guy has taken a step in his comeback. Like, you do it with everyone else. Justin Verlander was out with like a broken nail. Remember that? And then he was throwing a ball. He was throwing a medicine ball.
Yeah.
It's like, what? The guy had
Trust the
a fucking
process,
hangnail.
And to answer Tommy's question, I'll move the goalpost to a different state if I have to. I don't give a fuck. It's fun.
There's a lot of Tommies out there. They fucking hate.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
well.
we have them at our own company. They hate when Tiger is on his way back. And this guy refuses to fucking stop. He refuses to give up.
The two shots that made me like legitimately excited were the one from just off the cart path where he put it to 20 feet and then he made the putt. And I was like, let's do it. I'm ready. Gear up, get everybody ready, get the soldiers ready. We are taking this thing to Augusta and who knows what's going to happen.
The big one
What kind
for
of
me,
back surgery did this guy have? I mean, he's
I
swinging 190 miles an hour.
Swinging
It's
hard.
like, this guy had back surgery a couple months ago.
It's I got a we got some videos from a media member on like Friday that was just hyping this guy up like you wouldn't believe, being like, this guy's moving around. The limp looks like it's almost gone compared to what we've seen it before. He's hitting drivers off the deck, and he did hit that one. The one that really stuck out for me too was the tee shot on 17 that you guys talked about a little bit earlier. But like when he really took his time, locked in, visualized what he was trying to do, and then threw a dart in there under pressure. I know they ended up not making the putt and ended up losing by one, but just like him actually locking in and doing it, it just got me fired up, man, because boy, I think over the, really during the Dan Rappaport era, we kind of lost a lot of our mojo with Tiger Woods and believing like it might be truly, truly over. I think that gave me a little belief that like we might get a little bit more pop here over these next couple of years. It's not going to be every week. We're going to have times where he goes through more injuries and stuff. But as of right now, I'm feeling pretty confident on Mr. Woods.
We've said it before. What's the downside? Just if he does it, he does it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. It's fun to watch him and have the idea and the hope that maybe he can do something special. And we've said this before too. If there's a guy who's going to do it, it's going to be Tiger Woods. He's Tiger Woods, the most unprecedented athlete of all time. Nobody saw 2019 coming except the guys on this podcast. Everyone's like, it's over. It's done. It's, he's never going to win another major. Boom, wins the 15th. What's the shame in belief? At a time like this, at Christmas time, there's nothing wrong with believing. Nothing.
He writes the book. We say that all the time. Like, there is no book to go by. Oh, no one's ever done this at this age with this many surgeries. He's the guy that you reference in 20, 30 years. Oh, no one's done except Tiger. That's it. He's Guess just what? A little.
No one's ever won the U.S. Open on a broken fucking leg with a torn ACL and like a knee that doesn't work. Oh, Tiger Woods did it. No one's ever won 4 major championships in a fucking row. Oh, Tiger did. He won one by 15. He won one by 8. He had a 9-month layoff, and then won another one to wrap the whole damn thing up in the Tiger Slam. He's Tiger Woods. He's Tiger Woods. So if anybody's going to do it, like you said, it's going to be him. I think the Phil Mickelson thing still motivates him, that Phil's the oldest person to ever win a major championship. I think the Charlie thing motivates him. We need Charlie to not get obsessed with some other sport. We need Charlie, whatever it is, whatever we got to do, we need Charlie Woods to be the most obsessed golf man on the planet for the next 10 or 15 years so that Tiger Woods will stay locked in. And we've said it before and we'll say it again. Like, if Tiger Woods is still as motivated as ever, still believes he's got his hands, still could get his ball speed up in the 170s, 180s, and still can move around and prepare for tournaments. If he believes that he can go out there and compete, then he's right and everyone else is wrong. Like, he's the one that knows. He's Tiger Woods. He knows the game better than anyone. So if he truly wakes up every day and is like, I can fucking do this thing, I'm going to win another tournament, I'm going to win another major, then he's right and everyone else that is possibly weighing in is wrong and has less information than he does. He has the more information. He knows what it takes. He knows what he could do. So I think he still thinks he could do it. That's enough for me. That's it. At the Barstool Classic Championship just last month, we saw for the first time in action Truly Unruly. It is 8% ABV, but it is still light and refreshing, and we saw everybody out there. Hundreds of people, family and friends of all the golfers, hundreds of golfers absolutely loving these things. If you're ready to get unruly, do yourself a favor, man. Pick up a case for your next round and taste all 4 delicious flavors for yourself. We are talking Tropical Twist, Berry Blast, Citrus Crush, and Strawberry Smash, the high ABV drink that does not follow any of hard seltzer's usual rules.
They're amazing. They really are. The Truly Unruly is 8% ABV, but feels so light, so refreshing. There's a lot of drinks to go around, obviously, during the holiday season, but if you mix this in, you have these at your disposal. You have these for your guests. It really is. It's a showstopper. It's definitely a party goer. This thing gets the party going, man. It really does. I've done it. I've done this. I've said, hey, Uncle Mark, why don't you crack this one open? Why don't you try this one? Whoa! You're kind of doing that look. You take the drink, you do the far look because they don't have the glasses on. Like, what is this? 8%? God, tastes like fruit juice.
Find it near you at trulyhardseltzer.com/locations. If you're sitting here listening to this, you're going, I want to try these high ABV, delicious, Truly Unrulies. All you got to do to find it near you is trulyhardseltzer.com/locations. Truly Hard Seltzer Beverage Company, Boston, Massachusetts. Please drink responsibly. You got to have great headphones, whether you got earbuds, whether you got over the ear, over the head headphones, whichever you prefer. It doesn't matter. You got to have good ones. It's 2024. It's about to be 2025. if you travel like we do all of the time, you're listening to shows, you're doing work meetings, you're listening to music when you're in the gym, you're jumping from one to the other to the other. I've got my AZ80 true wireless earbuds with the sleek, striking midnight blue color in. These guys have their over the ear techniques headphones. They're just the best in the business. They really are.
The A800s is what Trent and I are rocking. They are phenomenal. I use these for the podcast. They're huge for the pod because I can hear you guys very loud and clearly, and it's really, really comfortable. But what I've been doing is I bring these downstairs. I got my electronic drum kit, my Roland electronic drum kit set up in the basement. I hook these things up to it, and it's got like 250 different presets. I can change it to any type of drum set, any type of wood on the tom-toms, anything. If you're in a stadium, whatever. And usually you're like, oh, those settings are cool, but you can't really tell the difference. You put headphones on that are of this quality and you're changing them. I did it. I taught my niece her first ever drum beat, and we were doing it. She was keeping 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 on the hi-hat. I'm pressing her foot down on the 1 and 3. She's a dancer, so she kind of got it. She picked it up quick, and she put on the headphones, and she was like she was transformed into another world. And then what I realized was I never turned these things off. Like I just left them down there. I went to go get them for the podcast today. I mean, we've been doing podcasting for 2 hours. Haven't had to charge these things. I was nervous that they weren't going to turn off. They probably turned off on their own because they were just left there without being used. The technology is out of control with how good these are. So we're not really blowing smoke up your chimney. We're telling you, these are legit.
They're so good. They're the best. I love the noise cancellation. I love how much you can optimize them for when we fly. I don't hear a single thing. It's fantastic. So shop for Technique's true wireless lineup at us.techniques.com/foreplay. And just for Foreplay listeners, you're going to get 10% off of your next purchase. That link again to go check out right now is us.techniques.com/foreplay.
We've mentioned the holiday spirit a bunch, and I know that we talked about this during a couple of videos. I'm not sure during the podcast, but we talked about our favorite Christmas movies, and we've all been deep into watching Christmas movies this whole month. If you're on like Freeform or TBS or TNT, all these, I mean, I know some of you guys aren't cable guys, but like you can't get away from Christmas movies, and they kind of play the same ones, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and obviously all the Home Alones run back to back to back. And then you've got National Lampoon Christmas Vacation. It's just like it hits you every single hour of the day. You can watch something. I want to get your guys' take on this. Like, my favorite, I think, is the Santa Claus #1. I think the original, the Santa Claus,
it's a great one.
Tim Allen. Just the idea of like having to like prove to people that you're Santa Claus, and him getting fat and going to work and like not realizing what's going on. That whole part is really funny. Here's my take on Christmas movies, and I want to see what you guys say. The only thing I don't like about the Santa Claus and some other movies is when they make the North Pole and Santa like feel like a small operation. So I get like really jazzed up when they show how sick like being Santa Claus is, and like how outrageous the task of giving presents to every single child around the whole entire world is. And an example of that would be like, and it's not a good movie. I think they did some weird shit with the animation, but Polar Express, like that world of the North Pole to me, like I get swept up in that. I see Trent's like holding back a laugh. I get swept up in that way more than when it's like Bernhard and Tim Allen in this little shop of the Santa Claus. And I love the Santa Claus. I think it might be my most enjoyable movie. But do you guys know what I'm saying? Like their new movie, Red One, it got like slammed for going out into the movie theaters. This one with fucking The Rock, and what's Captain America, Chris Evans, and like they make being Santa Claus like the coolest thing ever. J.K. Simmons is Santa Claus, and he's in this like penthouse suite, and it's like the operation of the presents, and like when they get the reindeer going, that to me is like, oh shit. You know what I mean? I wish more movies would dive deep into
see like it's like a Chinese sweatshop that's like creating all this stuff.
No, I want them to like show the magic of like what, you know what I mean?
So like Elf, you don't like that because that it's 8 elves with hammers who are making things in that one.
Yeah,
I would argue
love Elf, but hate that like depiction.
I feel like the Santa Claus does a pretty good job. They've got him. You know, he's drinking that hot cocoa. He's got his own pajamas. It seems like a pretty big operation.
That's why, they have the elves that go out and get them. Like that to me is like kind of cool.
They got the jetpacks on.
The jetpacks, yeah, they did nail it. That's why it's my number one. Like there's a little bit of everything. I don't know. I watched Red One and it was really good. I think it gets a little dark for no reason. I can't imagine a little kid watching it. This Krampus guy, who I was gonna tweet that Bernhard Langer was Krampus, but I thought that may have like went over the line or something. I didn't know. I didn't want to bring like his German, his Germanness into it.
Okay.
Because I think Krampus is a German,
touchy
Christmas
subject.
guy,
Grinch,
right?
Kind of, right?
I don't know enough about Krampus, but that feels right.
Krampus is like, he like eats like, or like he like damns like the bad kids, like the naughty list kids. He comes in, so like basically you grow up like not wanting to see Krampus because if you're bad, like Krampus is coming.
That sounds terrifying.
It's
like
terrifying.
the Christmas devil, kind of.
Yeah, it's exactly what he is. He's like a demon. He's a Christmas demon. That's like, if you're naughty, you're coming with me. If you're good, you go with Santa.
Now you've now got me thinking about the level of production that the North Pole has in these Christmas movies. Elf, Santa Claus, Home Alone doesn't have that aspect of it.
I guess, I think that all of it has like all the Christmas movies and Santa and the North Pole, they all have such a, like you got to have faith in the magic of it, that it's almost, to me, in terms of like, you got to really show a deeper, more practical look at the production that it takes to create all the toys. Is a little bit like when you watch Game of Thrones and you're like, there's no way they could have gotten there that fast, where you're just kind of like, well, I mean, there's a little like, we're talking about, you're arguing that dragons and like gremlins shouldn't have gotten there as fast as they did. It's like, well, I mean,
right. Frankie
No,
is making
but
the argument that he wants to do a behind the greens at the North Pole to really show what the production is like.
Dude, Red One did that. I think Polar Express does that. Like Polar Express does it, Red One does it. I think like even the animated like Arthur Christmas does it, where it's like this huge, like being Santa is like being the president. And it's like you've got your Secret Service around you. And it's like the most impressive thing ever. Like, dude, when they show Santa for the first time in Polar Express, it's a moment. Like, he can kind of see him, and like all the bells are ringing, and like he's getting paraded down the street to his sleigh. Like, that to me is like Santa should be like the big moment. Santa shouldn't be so accessible.
I'm a little worried you're going to be like Michael Scott when he goes down to the warehouse for the first time, and now Santa's going to come down and be like, Frankie's going to be unionized. All the elves are going to be Santa's going to be like, dude, you fucking killed me. This is our operation. Leave it alone.
I get what you're saying though. To a point where people would argue like there's all different Godzilla movies, right? There's all different takes on what a Godzilla movie should be. And there are some people out there that argue that the best Godzilla movies are the ones where you almost never see Godzilla. They sort of hide him from you as opposed to just throwing him right in your face all the time. Like you would catch a glimpse of a Godzilla as opposed to showing the whole thing. So I think that's sort of what you're getting at.
Dude, you got to watch Red One. I think I'm just hyped up on Red. Like when I was watching it, I was like, this is fucking cool. Like really cool.
I want to watch it. I really do. I had high hopes for it. I know it got murdered in the reviews, but I don't give a fuck about that.
But now I think its reviews are like amazing because everyone's actually seen it. I think it's up to like a 91 or something like that.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, I'm going to watch that maybe tonight.
You should. And you'll see exactly what I mean. Like there's something about it. Like there really is. The way it starts and all that is just fucking cool. It's a cool Christmas movie. I think you need that in your rotation, I guess is my point.
Okay.
I watched Hot Frosty. It's got to be probably my worst Christmas movie I watched this season so far.
I've never heard of it. There's a lot of bad ones out there, man.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's like basically a really hot like guy snowman comes to life because of a magic scarf and starts dating this chick, and the whole town is like, who's this man? And she's like, I swear to God, that snowman turned into a real person. They're like, I mean, that can't be the case. And that's kind of the whole movie.
What do you guys think about Jingle All the Way?
Love it.
I like it for a lot of reasons.
Turbo Man.
It's a really good Christmas movie, but Arnold Schwarzenegger was such a big star that he would do these movies and he would never change his accent, and there'd be no reason for it in the movie. I always find that fascinating. I think I texted Jeff D. Lowe about that a couple years ago. Like when they pitched Jingle All the Way to Arnold, at no point did anybody in the room say, hey, do you think you could do just like an American accent, because we're not going to explain why you have your accent. And no one ever had the balls to say that because he's such a huge star. If you get Arnold, you're just getting fucking Arnold. It's pretty incredible.
Arnold and Sinbad. It's just really good.
Phil Hartman, come on.
Great movie. It's up there. I got to be honest, did not watch it this month yet. And I think I might have to turn it on tonight.
You got time. Turbo Man.
You got time.
He's like pointing
Phil
at his
Hartman's
son.
trying to fuck his wife. That's a weird storyline in that movie.
Yeah. But he's like, yeah, I saw someone actually put a highlight reel of how much like riz that guy had. The whole town wanted him except for his wife.
They would bake him all goods, and because he was the single dad in the neighborhood who would help them with, things around the house.
They're giving him cookies, and
Yep.
he's just like, maybe I'll come over and fix that faucet.
I think my number one is Home Alone. There's just so much nostalgia attached to it that it's the house, it's the burglars, there's just I can't get enough of it. I really can't. It's so
good.
fucking good. And the second one's great too, but there's something about the first one. What?
It makes you want a cheese pizza so bad.
Oh my god, when he hits the stat, like there's little moments that I remember from my childhood, and one of them is the pizza guy pulling up to the house and hitting the statue. For whatever reason, that just sticks out in my childhood.
It's also it's like childhood for me because of the time when it was released. I was just looking; it was like 1990. I was born in '87, so it's like those when I was literally 3, 4, 5 years old. Home Alone was still hot, fresh in the streets. That's probably. I think I've said Elf before on here, and I don't disagree with that. But hard for me not to say Home Alone.
Elf is interesting in the fact that it's the latest Christmas movie that seems to be in everybody's rotation. Like Frankie's making the argument that Red One should be in the rotation. But if you look at Elf, that was 2003, dude. That was 20 years ago. And it's like, what's the other big Christmas movie that's come out post 2003 that's in there with the
Elf
Christmas
was
Vacation,
03.
the Santa
That's
Claus,
insane.
the Home Alones? It just doesn't happen that often.
Bad Santa. When did that come out?
Dude, the Santa Claus was 94. That's nuts. Bad Santa 03 as well.
I think it goes back to the Polaroid conversation. There's something about the way those movies were made that they're they're just warmer. And I'm not saying Red One should be in your like every day, every Christmas like watch. I think it's cool to watch once where you're like, oh, I like that take on that Santa Claus. I think that's cool. Watching J.K. Simmons get brought around like POTUS is sick. But there's something about, that early 90s. Same thing. It's like, I'm nervous about this Harry Potter remake. Like, are they going to make it look like the old Harry Potters? Like, there's just something. I can watch Harry Potter every day of my life. Something about the way they shot it. And I don't know. It's just like when things are shot in this new world, if it's not from the same director or whatever, it just looks different. It looks like a Hallmark movie sometimes.
I think you're right. I think the nostalgia of the production value and style at the time in that 10, 15 year stretch has a lot to do with it. Because it is almost like you don't want your Christmas movie to look like Dune 2. You know what I mean? Like it is like more of a home video style. So yeah, I think there's something to that. We've been going for a while, by the way.
We have been going for a long time.
We should throw it to these interviews anyways, because we got two great guys. Teased them off the top, but Billy Ho, U.S. Open winner Wyndham Clark, both of them kind of jump onto the show, catch up with them. So I don't know if you have anything else, Frankie, here for our Christmas show. We'll be back next week, by the way, with one. We're gonna have one show this week, Christmas week. We're gonna have one show next week, which is New Year's week.
Yeah, I guess just Merry Christmas. Enjoy every moment that you can get. You have all your family together. I mean, that's really all that it's about. Don't stress, especially if you're hosting, like don't stress over like you want to get through it. I talk a lot about on this show how if you just take a step back and you realize like my whole family's here for Christmas. It's 2024. We've been doing this for me for 31 years. Like how many more years are we going to get this again? Like we're all together. I did that when I had my side of the family come over on Friday. It's like, this is fucking awesome. Again, we're at my house singing karaoke and fucking eating all the same. My dad's bringing Borelli's and Borelli's is still around. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. So it's like, take the time. I sound ridiculous I'm wearing the most ridiculous sunglasses of all time saying this, but like really like this is it. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, you have Hanukkah coming. Hanukkah's on Christmas Day, isn't it? So it's like, it's all right around the same day. And it's just, it's really, really rare that you get you guys are flying back home. It's like a whole thing. It's very rare that you get to all be together. And to me, that's special. I feel like a lot of people try and get through the nights where it's like, oh, we got to go to this house, or, oh my God. It's like, dude, that's a fucking huge day. That's a huge moment in your fucking very fragile, quick life.
No, it's true. And it does change. Like, I think about Christmas 10 years ago, and it's much different than it is now. Like, some people aren't around anymore. They're going to different holidays, or it's, you gotta really enjoy what you see in front of you, because 10 years ago you weren't thinking about it, and it was like, wow, there's so many people here. And it does change, but just enjoy the people who are around now, and have a good time, and play games, watch movies, listen to the music. I couldn't agree more with what Frankie's saying.
It's a beautiful sentiment, just block out the hustle and bustle of it. It's a privilege, right? I mean, Alistair always says this, with pressure is a privilege. And I would say, having those issues, you got to jump from this Christmas to that Christmas. You got to go see all these different people. That's a privilege. That's a privilege on Christmas and around the holidays in general, whatever you may celebrate. So have a great Christmas. Have a great holiday. We'll have our second show during this little stretch coming out next week, which is New Year's week. Let's go St. Louis Blues in the Winter Classic. And other than that, that's all I got. We're going to throw it to these interviews. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
All right, we're joined back on the Fore podcast by a great friend of the program, Billy Horschel. We were talking earlier that, you've been great with us coming on after some big moments in your career, after a lot of emotional stuff has happened in your career. We hit you up. You've always been very genuine and come on whenever we've wanted you. So we appreciate that.
Appreciate you guys. Listen, we may have got off to a rocky start, but our relationship is smooth sailing right now.
I wish we had turned the mics and the cameras on earlier. He was talking about my tape that I showed Gruden, and he was giving me all these compliments. I was really hoping we were live when that was going on.
Listen, I saw that. I do not want to ever piss you off. You hit some people really fucking hard.
That's all I was looking for right there, to rehash
that. You were a truck, man. You were a truck.
I don't know where that athleticism has gone, because my golf game does not follow, but I was a decent high school football player. It was fun.
What other sports did you play, Billy?
I played football, baseball, tennis, baseball, and golf were the two sports I love the most. And
little hand-eye action that makes sense.
I thought, going to high school, I was trying to figure out, I only wanted to play one. Didn't know if I wanted to play baseball or golf, and broke my elbow playing baseball, throwing a baseball, and sort of saw as a sign that baseball wasn't the way. So I played golf, and my brother played baseball and football. He was our starting QB for our high school for 3 years, and then played on our baseball team too. And he played JUCO ball for a little bit.
Do you ever still have to fight a baseball swing in your golf swing?
No, I made enough golf swings now. I could never.
Man, I got some buddies that played college baseball and whatnot, and there's just nothing like a baseball golf swing. You can see it in a second from everybody.
I guess now you look at the way the game is now, and you see a lot of professional baseball players, or anyone who played that for a long time at a high level, man, they have so much speed, and it's natural speed. I'm like, man, I wish I would have played for another 4 years in high school. Maybe I would hit it further than I do now.
Yeah.
Just because they're so strong, and the way you produce power in, swinging a baseball bat is sort of very similar in the golf swing. So, yeah, I'm always jealous when I see these baseball players, playing pro-ams or anything, and I'm like, God, their golf swing's not even close to efficient. They can still fly at 330. They still got a ball speed of 185, 190. I'm like, gosh, and I've been doing this for 20 years, and I'll never touch that.
I'm such a pathetic looking guy, but I can actually move the ball decently far for my size, and I feel like it's because I played baseball my whole life. People don't understand when it pops off my club, relative to our skill level, but how is it going that far? Trent, you look at Trent and I, we're completely different body types. It looks like he could absolutely smash the ball 400 yards compared to me, but
I hit it 215.
Right. So it's all just coming from something in there. I don't know what it is.
Oh, it's the way
the weight transfer.
It's a sequencing of the power and everything. Hockey players are very similar too. Hockey players, baseball players. I mean, those guys, those two athletes in those sports can absolutely mash it if also the rotational aspect of rotating. So just the way the body needs a sequence to produce the most amount of power. That's why they're able to hit a golf ball very, very far.
It's funny for me with hockey. I've played hockey my whole life, and hands, and how hockey is your hands, and that's the only part of my game that saves anything in golf is my short game. So it's funny that just
you also
translates.
played hockey left-handed.
Yeah, true.
And you played golf right-handed.
Yeah, it's true. which is
think
crazy.
But there's a lot of guys that
Well, what guys don't realize in hockey is that left-handed should be called right-handed.
Right.
Yeah.
Dominant
Because
hand,
your dominant hand does all the skill work.
Yeah.
Your lower hand is more of a placeholder, but it's on the left side of your body. So everybody, thinks, especially a parent gets their kid in the game, didn't play the game growing up. They're like, oh, sticks on your left hand, you're a left-handed kid. But in reality,
in hockey, it's usually a top hand is your dominant hand.
Right.
This one
We're
goes
in
all
golf.
the way.
Yeah.
That's how you're moving.
Exactly.
Okay, and so in
like
golf,
Wayne Gretzky, for example, is
Yeah.
like a right-handed person, played hockey left-handed.
Okay.
So it's like dominant. Your dominant hand should be on top of your
And
stick.
so in
Gretzky
golf,
play golf lefty?
no, he
No,
plays golf
right-handed.
righty. And golf has always been dominant hand is always your bottom hand. But if you look at like the guys that are really some of the best, not everyone's this way, but like Jordan Spieth, left-handed dominant. But
Really?
he plays golf right-handed. And the way you're able to square the club up, like Phil Mickelson,
He's right-handed,
plays lefty, right-handed dominant.
Wow.
That's what I am.
That's what you
Lefty,
are.
right-handed
There's
dominant.
someone else, like my little boy, he's left-handed, but he plays golf right-handed. My brother threw the baseball left-handed. He was lefty, played golf-handed, right-handed. So it's funny how, like, my teacher said, that's actually a really good thing because just the way the top hand actually can stabilize the club face a little bit better and everything. Your bottom hand is not as dominant a little bit in the golf swing.
That's so weird.
I always felt like it was a disadvantage for me in baseball because I feel like in baseball you want that dominant hand to be up top because you're like that's really the driving force of power behind the ball. But yeah, for golf, I feel like it definitely helps me throw my hand kind of at it and get like more athletic. I can just throw my right hand at the ball, and it's like I can really just do this. Like I'm doing it right now. Like I can knock a ball wherever I want. If that was my like less dominant hand, I wouldn't be as confident, I guess is the word.
Yeah.
But that's where most of the world is. I feel like,
Right.
like I'm right-handed, I golf righty. You're right.
But you think about it. So you're right-handed. If you're right-hand dominant and you flick it, like it goes this way, right? And that's where you get people get the
That's
yips
I
and
know,
everything.
right.
So left-handed, you go this way. You want that left. Your left hand can only straighten so much, and it can only flick. So it straightens everything up and will never break down.
Yeah.
Where in the right hand, it usually does. So like my teacher will teach where people have the yips, like sort of strengthen the left hand a little bit, and then sort of extend it straight. Not when you come release it. And you release it so much that it just sort of everything lines up and doesn't break down and sort of
because it doesn't really flip. It releases to the end here.
correct.
Right
I
there.
see. That's wild. That's a great point. Whereas the righty, you can flip right
Yeah,
through
you
it.
go ahead and go. Yeah, you're gonna release it early, scall it, whatever you want to say.
Everything's
so,
in play.
Yeah.
You might kill somebody out here at the SoFi if you
Yeah,
have that
SoFi
going
for
on.
sure. I mean, listen. I don't know. Maybe we're gonna have an inside bet amongst the teams and the players. Like, who could be the first one to skull a bunker and kill a spectator?
Oh my God,
or
dude.
not kill. Let's not go that far. Injure a spectator inside SoFi
Permanently
Arena.
Totally.
injure. It's quite the scene in there. So you've been here a few times now. They're saying you've driven down a couple times and checked it out. We just walked in there for the first time. We kind of gave some of our takes to our audience already. What was sort of your first impression when you walked in here?
Yeah, when I was here a couple weeks ago, as I told people, I said, you're sort of trying to wrap your head around, playing, high tech simulator. You've seen some of the pictures. I told you how big the screen's going to be and everything. You're trying to, they know it's going to be real grass we hit off of, but then the greens and around the, within 50 yards, sort of artificial and everything. But I don't think I spent any time with trying to comprehend what it was going to be like playing indoors. Because we all have hit balls indoors, but it's in like a room like this with a simulator. It's small.
Right.
This is a bigger space. And when I walked inside, I was speechless. I really was. Just the size of it, the screen and everything. But what I thought about right away was, man, I feel like I'm an Atlanta Falcons player ready about to play in a Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I'm walking into the arena, the warm-up for the game, coming out to start the game when you're coming out of the tunnel, like you got the fans all excited and hyped for the game to start. You got a Boston Red Sox player walking out into Fenway Park before a game. You got Steph Curry walking out into that arena out there before a game. Just hockey players, same thing. That's the feeling that I had of like, this is what it must feel like, somewhat semblance to what these other athletes in sports feel like when you're walking into this arena, because you see this 5-story screen, you see the video boards around, you see your name, you see all the lights and everything going crazy, like, and the music, you're like, this is pretty cool.
It's
this
awesome.
is cool.
It's otherworldly. Like
Yeah.
and you've experienced this even to a higher degree, but we said we've been around this game to almost every inch and corner of golf. Like we've been to, lucky enough to be a spectator at Augusta. You've obviously been on the other side of that. We've been to Pebble Beach. We've been everywhere. We've seen really it all. And then you step into a place like this and you're like, wait a minute, how is this something so different than what we've ever experienced? It's incredible. They've taken something that is real, which is like hitting into greens, taking real drivers at for a distance that you can actually see the ball moving, so it feels real. And they brought it into what you're saying, like a college arena type. Everyone's right on top of you, lights going everywhere. Like I don't know how anyone had this vision to put this much money into something like this and actually produce this, because like this is like an insane take on the game of golf.
Yeah, I mean Mike's vision for this, when he shared it with me in early 22. I was like, wow, this seems pretty cool. My initial thought was like, hey, this is another way to get more people involved in the game of golf that isn't involved in the game of golf.
Yeah.
I don't care if they go play golf out on a real golf course ever, but just if they go play, at their local bar or wherever they have, you see them popping up all over.
Everywhere.
They started in the Northeast and now they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Not just
everywhere.
Not just in the Northeast, they're everywhere. With these simulators when you go play and hit balls and everything.
I remember when I was in college and it was like 2010ish or 9, and in Boston there was one dog shit simulator like 45 minutes away, and we would go up there like once or twice at winter, and it was awesome. We would prepare for it for like a month straight. We would have so much fun out there. It was the only one in the state of Massachusetts at the time. And I didn't know anywhere that had one. Now it's 14, 15 years later, they're everywhere.
Like
you're seeing bars and restaurants that are solely dedicated for that, and they're building,
big time.
It's that, but they're making food and a bar
That's
area
like a
and
new
hangout
accessory
area.
to a bar. It used to be like a photo booth.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
like a freaking golf simulator.
Yeah.
If you have a cool bar, it's a golf simulator bar.
I think it's sort of played off what Topgolf has been, and you've expanded on. And listen, Topgolf is great, but let's be real. You're hitting a golf ball that doesn't go as far as it does.
Mm-hmm.
You're hitting your own, you can bring your own clubs in there, but you sort of
You're
expand
kind
like
of a douche if you do a little bit.
you do look a little weird when you bring your bag
Like
in
end
there.
up on Instagram.
I'm ready.
But no, I mean, I think people want to actually
Billy
hit
brings
their
a
own
staff
clubs.
bag in there.
I'm going to drop down my staff bag right here.
Caddy out there.
spikes on.
All right.
We're going to put ropes around the area so people stay back.
Throwing up fake
Yeah,
grass. What do
exactly.
you think it's doing here?
But I think people want to hit their own clubs. They want to hit actual golf balls. And yes, it may go into a screen, but you get this same feeling you have and everything. And so, so it was really cool. And then, just the arena itself, I guess what I was getting back earlier was that the only thing that sort of may come close to this is like, I played one team competition. That was a President's Cup. And that sort of being around that atmosphere in the first tee is really cool. Obviously, the Ryder Cup, they've done the same thing and it's bigger. But imagine closing that entire tee, with an arena.
Yeah.
And yes, they may have 15,000 people. I don't know how many people are around those first tees. We know we're going to have about 2,000 or so. But closing that in, and you're playing right there in front of everybody with people above you, on top of you, and that
on
space and everything.
ESPN,
and it's on prime time.
That's on the line.
It's the same effect of like if you go to like a high school basketball game, even if it's like encased in the proper little gymnasium,
correct.
And there's only 400 people in there, it feels like there's 25,000 people in there.
Listen, when I went, my high school was called Bayside High School, and we played Mel High. Mel High had a really good basketball team, but they were also a school that had a little bit of money and everything, and Bayside was not money by any means. And so it was always a big rivalry because our team was really good and their team was really good, and it was always heated. And listen, you only may have had like 1,000 or 1,500 people in their arena, and their gym was even smaller than ours. I mean, it was loud, and it was like you could feel the energy, you could feel the tension. You felt like maybe a fight could break out at any time because we're all high school kids, and we all think we're smart and big and tough, and we're talk back to each other.
Yeah.
We're not playing, but we're yelling at each other. That's what it feels like a little bit.
We've been talking about the viewing experience for the people in the arena is going to be unbelievable. Like how often they get to see you, Tiger, Roy, like that close.
Yep.
And you guys aren't moving. You guys aren't going to the next hole. You're right there the whole time, which
you
is
can
really
sit in
cool.
your seat for 2 hours, have drinks, food, and everything, and you can watch us hit multiple shots for 2 hours and everything.
Now, we were saying like the arena's done its job. The arena's there. It's as cool as it gets. The viewing experience is going to be incredible. For it to translate on TV, you guys need to do exactly what you just said. You need to bring that high school energy going into the rivalry. And I don't know if that's something that can be fabricated. You're going to have to feel it. Like, guys are going to have to care, or else it's, and we've been talking about this at length on this show, but like, the showdown last night, $10 million to the winner. it's cool. They don't really care.
I'm not going to lie. I watched it last night, and I've said this from the very beginning about this, because when you understand what's going into and everything else, you realize that for this to be successful, us as players need to be entertainers. We need to be different than what we are out at a PGA Tour event inside the ropes. We need to play competitive golf, and we need to be great in that aspect, but we need to be entertainers.
Yeah.
And I watched the showdown last night, and I actually thought it was going to be really good. Brooks can have some good lines. Obviously, Bryson's, sort of elevated himself and doing that and showing a side of himself that no one ever thought he ever had. Rory can be good, and Scotty can, Scotty's good. He's quiet, but he's got some zingers as well.
He's funny, yeah.
When you see him behind closed doors, he's a good guy, real fun to be around. There was some moments there, but it was more or less, I thought, between Charles Barkley and some of the commentators and the players. There was nothing with the players, and I think the thing that I miss the most is we've played together, and when I'm playing with other guys at home, like I played yesterday with Austin Greaser, Jackson Suber, and Michael Thor. I'm not even going to say his last name because I can't say it.
Too much going on.
Yeah,
a lot of consonants.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on that last name, but early in the round, Austin has a couple of putts from inside 4 feet, 5 feet or 4 feet. And I go ahead and give him to him. And he's like, what? And I'm like, no, you're good. And he's like, you don't want me to putt? I said, no, I want you to putt it later in the round when it means something, and you can go ahead and miss it because you haven't made one. You can remember that I'm giving you these. So something like that, sort of get in their head a little, play a little, at home fun mind games with your buddies and everything. That's
try and win.
Correct.
Really,
you want to win, but it's okay to give a little needle. It's okay to play little mental games and everything.
Definitely.
Yeah, they seemed a little nervous, a little. They just didn't want to cross that bridge. And it's
I don't think there's any problem with it, though.
I don't think so either, because it's not malicious.
No, you're not. Listen, we're not doing it. We're having fun. No one's malicious. We respect each other as players. So we're not doing it to be a jackass or anything. We're doing it to have a little fun and see if we can get under your skin a little bit. See how, if you're a little mental fragile right now, or if you can handle the mental stuff right now, that's okay.
It's also a sport. The Yankees and the Red Sox respect each other as athletes, but Roger Clemens was throwing one under the chin of Big Papi. He's like, I'm here. We're this is a competition. And then I'm going to say something about you in the press later, and then hopefully one day we'll all be in the All-Star game together and we'll share a beer for this is sports. Why does golf always get into this other category of it's got to be prim
it's
and
no
proper?
Different than your any buddies or people playing at your local club, or and they're giving each other a little ribbing as they're playing.
100%.
Oh yeah.
But you know what? After the round, they're hanging out because it's not a big deal. They know they're not doing it
that feels real out there. By the way, when those guys are out there giving it to each other, they're their heart's going.
Yeah,
they're I want to make this putt. Fuck this guy. I'm gonna tell him that he's not taking my money. He's not taking my $20 today. And then after, you share a beer.
It's okay. I hope we see some of that.
You gotta see it,
because I think if we do, it'll be exciting. Like the tee shot Wyndham hit on, when that hole he played, I would have been like, man, that fairway's only 30 yards wide. When you hit that drive at 18 at LACC, the final round, that's a 70-yard wide fairway, and it barely stayed in that. So make sure you don't hit a wipey one like you did at 18 at LACC.
Right.
Fun.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Fans would love that. They're like, oh, that's funny. It's exciting. Yeah, he's giving a little... can he get inside his head or not? That's okay.
Totally.
Well, I hope you bring a lot of that. I know we got to wrap. This one's quick. Let's get together again soon.
Yeah.
We can go a little bit longer and hang. But no, I love the enthusiasm. I love you hopping on with us.
You probably need a rematch one of these days.
Yeah, we should.
We got to set that up. I played awful.
No,
I want you guys. I did play bad.
Day.
It was a tough day.
No one gives enough credit to how hard that was.
Are you guys still only lost once?
A couple, but
you guys lost a couple times.
We're taking a couple now.
Take a couple L's.
Yeah.
But our match
Sam
still went
Burns.
18.
Sam Burns got you
Sam
guys.
Burns.
Yeah.
Wow. Dust.
Sam's good.
5-4.
Good.
His home course just absolutely.
Oh yeah, he played on his home course. You should at least got a couple shots more.
I think weren't we all square through 8?
Yeah, and then we just got Steve.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow, you got whooped on the back end.
We won 7
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to
All
run
right,
it back.
Billy.
Yeah, awesome guys.
You're the man. Thank you.
Always
appreciate you.
Always.
Thank you.
Frankie, thanks, buddy.
See you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Our great friends at Shipsticks are running a festive, phenomenal, excellent giveaway. We're getting all kinds of good prizes to you folks, gift cards, free shipments, exclusive discounts. But the real kicker, the real main event, they're also giving away 4 sets of 2 tickets to the VIP suite on the iconic 16th hole right here at TPC Scottsdale for the Waste Management Phoenix Open. You go check them out at shipsticks.com/holidayspin to play. It's that simple. What a giveaway these guys are giving.
It's a dream. Best seats in the house. You got a buffet, cocktails. You're a part of the excitement that is the 16th hole at the Waste Management. Everyone, it's a bucket list type event. It's a bucket list type seat to acquire. And all we're saying is to just sign up. I think you give your name, your email, you hit spin, and you have a chance to win. It's as simple as that. So we're telling you right now, we talk a lot on this podcast. We do a lot of these partnership reads, whatever. This one is so simple. Just listen to the link, go sign up, and spin to win. You could win a lot of stuff. It's free.
Shipsticks.com/holiday spin. Like Frankie's saying, it's that easy. All you do is go on there, give a little bit of the information that they need, and bang, you can enter to win VIP tickets. And there's all a bunch of other awesome giveaways as well, from gift cards, free shipments, exclusive discounts to really cool stuff. And they're giving away 4 sets of 2 tickets to their VIP suite, 16th hole Waste Management, one of the coolest things you can be at. Buffet, cocktails, all while being part of the most exciting action and a hole on the PGA Tour. That is shipsticks.com/holiday spin to play.
Dude,
Seafoam.
green and seafoam is just in.
Yeah.
It's in with like interior what?
Aren't you wearing? Is that seafoam?
No, it's blue.
That's blue. That's blue.
Yeah,
That's blue. That's blue.
close.
Interior designing, like greens are in.
Wow, you're really up.
I'm all
up
in
to
on
date.
green. Yeah. Like, this guy's fucking wearing green too. Everyone's fucking wearing green.
I do notice like the younger crowd wearing green, which is a good
Dude,
sign.
green's
Aren't
in.
you part of the younger crowd?
We used to be.
I think we're out of that.
Oh, you're
I
out
think
of
we
that?
aged out of
We're
it.
like
Oh,
part of the
wow.
old guard. Fucking Jonesy's got green shoes on.
He's the hippest guy we got, probably. He's the best looking one for
He's
sure.
got a kid coming in like 5 weeks. I got a kid coming in April. It's over.
Wow, yeah, you guys are going
Too old.
downhill.
That's why I know about the
It's all
college
good
teams.
now, right? That's
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You son of a bitch.
That's why we're having kids so they can compete with them.
We
All right.
good?
Yeah, we're just rolling right
good.
into
We're
it.
just rolling.
Yeah, let's
we're
just
rolling.
do it.
We're
Wyndham
straight
Clark.
from
up,
Ricky
boys?
and Wyndham Clark, U.S. Open champion in a great U.S. Open that Ricky was a huge part of as well.
Yep.
Down the stretch, what a thriller that was. I heard Billy Horschel said earlier he wanted to chirp about one of your tee shots out here because he's like maybe the 18th hole at the U.S. Open at LACC that would have been fine, but it's a little tighter here. He threw a little stray your way.
Yeah, well, I'd say, Billy, do you have a U.S. Open?
Bang.
Oh,
And
We're
then
trying
I
to
just
get
shut
it
it
going.
down.
Listen.
We're getting this thing
And I
going.
just shut it down, and then what does he say?
So
you got to bring that energy to the actual events because we need that. Like we were saying, TGL did a good job building you guys the arena. Now, for it to translate, you guys need to have you guys need to want it.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest outlier. I mean, the technology is unbelievable.
It's insane.
The place is unbelievable. Like, you guys had been blown away. When I first came in, I was like, holy smokes, this is like so sick.
It really is sick.
It's honestly amazing. It now comes down to us, and if we can have all that stuff. Now, that's who knows.
Well,
Like,
You don't
some
need to be
guys might
stand-up
bad.
comedians, but
Yeah.
you definitely it needs
you-
to come across it like you guys want to win this championship. Like when you're when moments come up, it's gonna matter big time. And I know that it's not it doesn't have the prestige yet. It's the inaugural season, but
No, but like
it's
golfers,
set up for it to be there.
The way we've talked about it, the lens that we look at it through is you guys have all played golf, obviously. When you play with your buddies, you talk shit and you give little ribs and you break balls. I think if you go out there and do that, again, it can't be fabricated. We keep referring back to the showdown that was last night. Not a ton of that. I would say 0 of that. And it was kind of a weird watch. But if you can kind of get under each other's skin or try to, you're all competitive. That'll be a huge thing for the TGL.
Well, maybe hoping that maybe I could help do that. I mean, we have a fun team. I mean, Shane talks some shit and is fun. Ludd on our team is, he's like an assassin. He's just he's going to be that way. And then Minwoo's kind of the fun character.
Yeah.
But I think as maybe it becomes more of a thing, I think it'll pick up, right? I mean, at first people might be like, oh, I don't want to get canceled. I don't want to say something bad.
Yeah.
But I think if you just have like a fun, way about it, and you just act normal, which I would talk a bunch of trash, then it's going to come out great. And I'm
That's
hoping
the other thing
I
that
hope
we're
it is-
not thinking about is like you guys have great personalities on the golf course. Just you don't always have a camera and a mic on you 24/7 like when you're out there. Now you are gonna, so that will come out more naturally than we're anticipating.
100%,
Like
100%.
you really don't need to be anything more than you already are. It's just you're going to be exposed way more this time.
Well, and you allude to like the seriousness. Not that we play for money, because I like to believe a lot of us just play because we want to win. There's a lot of money on the line still. So, I mean, that's an added incentive. And then on top of it, we know how to compete. And I feel like you just put us any golfer in a atmosphere where there's competition. It could be ping pong, it could be beer pong, it could be darts, it could be any other sport, it could be throwing a rock farther than someone else. You try to beat someone. So I think we're going to be competitive. It's just all a matter of how our personalities come out and if it's highlighted well and if we kind of make it run. And
yeah. I mean, I think the in-person viewing of this will be like the coolest ticket in all sports. Like,
100%.
I really don't think it's going to get better. You're sitting if the worst seat in the house is 5 rows away from Tiger Woods for 2 straight hours of him hitting golf shots. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
like that's the worst seat in the house. And like the one above you is like a suite where you can it's like it's crazy. There's no bad seat in this whole entire place.
Yeah.
So if it translates on TV, that'll be the biggest thing, and that's all up to just the competition and the highlights, 100%. Like you're saying. So
I think the continuity of it will help too. The fact that it's a league. Whereas a lot of this, the showdown and these things, which again, I'm glad they exist. I think it's additive to golf that they exist. They're fun to watch, but they're one-offs, and it's like you can kind of sense that it's like, all right, this thing's almost over. It's a one-off. Yeah, the continuity to it is like it's a league, and you guys aren't going to want to lose to start the league or to be. It's like no, we want to be at the top of that.
Right, you guys start off 2-0. It's like you got a target on your back. You're the leaders in the clubhouse. You guys are winning.
100%. Well, the fun thing that I didn't honestly think about, and then now as I've talked about it, and then had gotten to marinate on it, is we are going to start feeling like a team. I mean, we're going to fly from every event that we play together to this event. So it'll be us 4 flying. We'll get in. We'll probably have dinners together. We'll go do practices together. We'll be warming up together. So it'll actually really start feeling like a team, which is pretty neat. And then as you get into competition and we win and start having success, it's kind of fun. And then now that you bring that into the PGA Tour, we're probably hanging out, talking about how fun this is, and now we become really good friends. So then that whole team thing becomes something that could be really fun.
You think there will be like a set roster, almost like baseball, where like you always know who the leadoff hitter is going to be, or are you guys going to like kind of move it around based off of matchups and stuff?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've kind of already talked about it and thought about it. I mean, we have a team that can hit it far, and then we got great putters. I mean, we have a really stacked team. Ludd is probably our straightest ball striker as far as off the tee, and then Minwoo and I have the distance, but so does Ludd. So it's going to be interesting to see when
you guys
we
are
do
hit
the
some
alternate
fun shots.
Yeah, so the alternate shots can be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, I guess because we get to play the holes beforehand and we know, it would probably be a lot of like, hey, I feel comfortable on this shot, so I'm going to take this tee ball. And you try to maybe put whoever's best in that area probably on those shots. So whoever's our best iron player, whoever's going to be our best, maybe putting and chipping guy. And so that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to see. And then obviously when things go awry, then what happens? Then the order gets off.
Totally.
And, so it could be really.
The other thing I wasn't thinking of too is like this is so team heavy in such a league that like there's going to be stats like throughout the season of like which team has the worst putting percentage, just like a baseball team having a low batting average, or like which team.
He's like shit.
Like
damn it,
like New York has the highest fairways hit or whatever. It's like oh shit, like we're actually this is a real.
We're gonna have a stat line of triple doubles.
Right. That's right.
The one thing is our putting stats, man. So one thing, like the green is so like the technology and everything's so good, but as everyone knows, like turf putting can be different, and they've made it where there's a lot of slope and undulation.
It's hard to read.
It's hard to read. So I feel like that would be the one area that maybe our stats might not be as good.
Putting. Everyone, the whole nation. What the hell's going on?
Like, let's just say we might not give many putts because it's kind of
right.
No, we noticed that. You really have
no
there's no direct way to know. Like you can't see it the way that you can normally see it.
Yeah, there's so much light on there that you can't tell any shadows or contours. So
it's hard.
It's very hard to see, and so you might think it's right edge. It might break right. 2-3 balls, and you're like, wow, I look like
dude. I was standing over I was hitting a drive, and it was so dark, and the lights were going around. I almost like couldn't see the driver head. Like everything kind of like.
That doesn't happen when we hit though.
Okay.
So that
they only did that to you.
Yeah,
they get the real lights.
Yeah, they just were trying to mess you up.
I was gonna say, I was like, it's like kind of dark around here. I mean, it was still light, but it was weird.
Yeah,
You're not
so
playing with the sun beating down on you.
All the light stuff, because I asked the same thing because one of the times it was dark, and I'm like, man, that's kind of tough to see. They go, oh, that's only. Like we'll do all the cool light stuff just like an NBA game, but then similar to an NBA game, once they play, it's all bright, like so you can see.
Got it.
Then after a shot, they'll do something cool.
So really, we were playing under like the opening warm up lights, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep. Yeah.
Makes sense.
no wonder it was chaotic.
You were like Drake in the warm, the warm up.
We were.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In the layup line. And,
We're in our Kentucky gear.
and they're like, oh, here you go. You get a little chance.
Did you ever see that guy that looks like Drake that went to that bar like that? He was he was lip syncing it, and he was like, this fucking guy thinks he's Drake. You saw that?
Oh yeah.
You gotta put that clip in. It's one of the funniest clips you'll ever see. He gets so in. Have you seen
I've
this?
not seen this.
It's one of the funniest things you'll ever
There's
see.
a Drake lookalike contest.
He's at a bar and he's just like they're playing a Drake song. And he's really getting into it. And he just like this.
He's doing that. I can
So
picture
do
it.
people, and then people think it's him?
Everyone's kind of looking at him like, what's going on?
Like, is he Drake or is this not
no,
Drake?
he's like
I
really
think
chubby.
he's a little bit more robust.
Oh, okay.
Dude, it's so
If
good.
I remember correctly.
He's Fat Drake.
That
It's a
is
great.
awesome.
It's a great video
He's
though.
fat Drake. I said to Ricky earlier, I was like, are you aware that in recreational golf, if somebody just drills a 4-footer into the back of the hole, people will be like, oh, you Rickied it, because like he's known for that. Are you aware, since the Players Championship, that the lip out is like the Wyndham all over the place?
That's just awful. I mean, at
See,
least
I'm so like, that's so sick that you finished that I think that's not as a bad thing. It's like,
I
that's
think
such a good finish.
Ricky's he's jamming it in the back of something and it goes in,
you're
and
like
I'm the one giving the rim job.
You're just like a 20-footer, though. You're
Yeah,
like a
kinda nice,
20-footer,
nice.
though, you know?
I know. I mean, it was a lot. Gosh, I look back at that. Who knows if I would have won, in the playoff or whatever. But that just would have been so sick.
It was
just
unbelievable.
for me, selfishly. If that went in and then we got to play, because I think it's a 3-hole. You play 16, 17, 18. That would have been
Which is as
so
iconic
sick.
as it gets.
Yeah.
I know. Oh,
I
well.
just thought you should know. I want you to be aware of what's going on.
I hope that that's the last lip out I have to try to win or tie a tournament.
I love it. No, it was an insane. I mean, that
What a-
stretch and the stretch you've had the last couple of years. We're so like not in your world of competing to actually win things.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, it's all good. It's all part of the good stuff. But I wanted you to know that people are saying that out there. Just to be,
all
I want you to be
right.
aware.
Wow.
He sounds thrilled that you brought it
Yeah,
up.
thank you. Thank
I
you.
wanted to know. I don't want I don't want you to be blindsided out there. That's all I'm saying.
Oh.
How are you this time of year? Gearing up for going into the new season? Are you kind of taking time off? Are you ramping up?
I took right after President's Cup. I took like 3-4 weeks away from the game. Didn't even touch club. That's so much harder than people think. I mean, we love golf. I mean, that's part of the reason why we play this. We love golf, and to not touch for 3-4 weeks is your club is tough. And then when you get back into it, you're like, wow, I forgot how to play golf, and that's what you fear, because for like 3-4 days you have no idea where the ball's going. Everything feels foreign. And then that 4th, 5th day, you're like, all right, I still have it. And then your anxiety calms down. But so, no, I've been kind of grinding. And then, now we have, 2 weeks before the first event. My family always goes to Cabo. So we'll be in Cabo.
Hell yeah.
We'll be at El Dorado every day. I'll be
Sick of
grinding
that.
from like 7 to noon, and then we'll be beaching it the rest.
There you
So,
go. That's awesome.
God.
I mean, we're about to play in Maui. I think that's like the perfect prep, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
That's exactly what we'll be doing.
Sounds like a dream. We were just in Hawaii for the first time.
We always talk about, I don't know if you remember, your first time on our show, we were at Liberty National, and we had you and Scotty Scheffler on the same show. You guys were just like two guys.
Yeah.
Like, people knew what was going on, but not really. And then now you look back, what was that, fucking only 3 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 years ago.
That's-
It might have been, yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy when we came on. You were like, who the hell is Wyndham Clark? Yeah.
But dude, like, I mean,
He did say that. No, he
well,
said
and then like even Scott, it's like, Scotty like wasn't anything like
Oh, no.
huge.
he like
It's just,
hadn't
like,
really won yet.
now we
either.
think back to that show, like you guys are both
Yeah.
insane.
Yes, you never know. You might interview someone and they might be.
That
Well,
might
has
be
it?
the
I mean,
thing.
does it
The
feel
next
like
Wyndham
that?
Clark.
Does it feel that quick of a rise for you? I mean, to us, that feels like that was yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, Scotty came out. He had a lot of success right away. Obviously,
Yeah.
his rookie year played on the Ryder Cup team, and then has now won everything. Yeah, for me, it was crazy. I mean, I was a 3 or 4 year. I don't even know if you call it a vet at that time when I did that interview with you guys, but hadn't had that much success. And then it's in 2 years. Now I'm doing things like this, and I'm representing SoFi for the TGL and doing all these cool things. Like it's honestly amazing. It's
great.
pretty humbling, and it's amazing how in sports how quickly you can elevate to something, and people elevate you to something, and just only whatever it could be months or years ago you were like, no one cared about me.
Right.
So it's very interesting. It's a crazy thing in
It's got to be a
sports.
wild ride.
Yeah, it is.
I think you have the kind of game that a lot of people, if they could choose a style of game to have on tour, like a lot of fans would be like your game, because you absolutely send it.
Okay, thank you.
You know
I
what I
like
mean?
this part. What else do I do that you like, Rick?
I think the aggressiveness. I think like there's a lot of boring golf that gets played. I feel like you don't play boring golf.
Yeah.
Like, you probably wish you played a little bit more boring golf.
My caddy does. That's for sure.
But as a fan, it's like you. I mean, we talk about it when we played at Greyhawk. You didn't have your best day of all time, but like we were like, did you see how far he was carrying the golf ball?
Oh.
And
I
it's so.
remember that. I hated that day. We need to get a rematch.
We'd
Yeah.
love a
Oh,
rematch.
I
didn't have your
hated
best.
losing to you guys. You caught me on like the taking a little time off, came off a little bit of a bender.
Yeah, you were still
I talked to
celebrating.
Rob. I knew how to
Yeah,
wins the
that
sweet
day,
spot
that
to
one.
get
We
him
want
in
that
there.
one. No, we got to run it back.
But I just think that's sort of the game that's like fun. Like just this guy smashes it down there, and that's taking a lot of risk, hitting the ball as far as you possibly can. Is I think an exciting style of golf.
And
to
hopefully
watch.
not lipping out putts.
Not lipping out. Let's not lip those out. That was a motivational speech.
Okay, thank you.
Whatever you're trying to get.
Yeah, I mean, I believe me, my younger days, and part of why maybe I didn't win as much was probably too much aggression, and so I've had to tone that down. But no, I like that part. I think it's
Go
fun
for it.
to try
Yeah.
to go for it.
Good.
So.
Good. All right.
See
Well,
doors opening. Yeah, we got to get out of
All
here.
right,
well,
I've
look,
gotta
we're,
leave.
These have been tight.
we're excited to watch
Yeah.
these. We're excited
Yeah,
to
man.
watch TGL.
Are you guys gonna be out here, or are you just gonna be
Yeah,
viewing?
Trent lives down here
I
now.
just moved down here.
Oh,
Yeah,
sick.
Lives in
So I'm
Jupiter.
around.
Sweet.
He's a
Yeah.
Jupe guy.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's
Yeah.
nice.
But we're gonna come. Like we said, once we saw the stadium and everything, like this is sick. We got to come check
Yeah,
this out.
you do.
Oh,
You
good
do.
luck.
All right, thanks, boys.
All right,
Appreciate
bro.
it.
Time, man.
Thank you,
Best of
Winnie.
luck. Yep.
Appreciate it.